Oh yeah, we gotta put one of those countdowns on this thing, huh?
Rock with a rhythm, free to rock, 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 rock with a rhythm, free to rock, rock, rock.
Come on.
Rock with a rhythm, free to rock, rock, rock. Rock with a rhythm, free to rock.
All right, look, I still got 48 weeks, or maybe 46, to find a fader. All right, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. The technology doesn't exist. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Drop Frames. It's been a while. How is everyone? Is everyone good? Oh, he got a headset. We got big changes here. He's muted though.
Wow.
I do have a headset. Yes,
Oh
I've got a
my
headset on
God.
today.
Oh my
I noticed
God.
I was already bleeding through with the audio, so decided to stop a little early.
Oh my God. It's a brand new show.
God.
It is.
It's a brand new show. Zeke's
Damn it.
confused. I don't know
Why
what's
did you
happening. What?
I can't hear you.
I don't know. He's desperately searching
Hold
for
on.
something. Okay, we got to hold on a minute. Jericho, how's it going in the meantime? Welcome back. It's been a while.
Great. Thanks for the nice glasses.
Nice.
There we go. Solid intro. First time I had seen that.
Look
Thanks
at
for
that.
including me. You gave me a zoom in that wasn't even planned.
True.
But, deserved. I think so.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's good.
It's been a while. It's been so long. In fact, I don't remember who's better or lesser co.
I am lesser co right now.
Oh, you're currently.
beat me. It was like
we
Mortal
did a paper,
Kombat,
rock,
wasn't it?
scissors or something last time.
We've done.
Oh, maybe.
I think we've done Mortal Kombat, and I think we've done Rochambeau. I think we've had 2 competitions.
All
Sounds
I
right.
know is I think I'm the lesser of the two, but
Okay, I think that's correct. I thought the joke was dead at this point. However, we
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
Okay, it's dead. Great. I'm not even going to continue that. It's dead. The joke's dead. Zeke took it out back and killed it. It fought back a little bit. That's why its
exactly.
glasses are broke.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
That's the storyline.
if
So-
only I
Just
could
ask my
grow
chat,
facial
man.
hair.
Says my
I
chat,
feel
I'm-
left
I'm
out.
pro at killing jokes, man. I kill jokes like all day.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like half of my stream is just me fucking up something I thought was funny.
That was my nickname in high school or middle school was the joke killer. Like people hated me. They thought I was not funny. I had no friends. It was really rough in middle school. So luckily I sort of grew out of it, but I can relate.
All
I
right.
can relate.
Starting the show off on a high note here with Jerry.
I was relentlessly bullied from it's like-
Are we telling middle school stories? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I guess that's the theme. That's the theme of this week.
Well,
That's how it
when I
goes.
got to middle school, all those many years ago,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to get zits and braces at the same time. It was great.
Nice.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, Beavis and Butthead was at the height of its popularity in 92, 93. So around then, that's when I went to junior high. And I happened to look just like Butthead, which was awesome. I had the zits, I had the braces, the poofy hair. My head was far too big for my body.
Nice.
It was an amazing time in junior high school.
Sounds
no.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
Co, any middle school stories?
Oh, I was miserable for most of my school, and not just like miserable, but like I was a miserable person in a lot of ways as
yeah.
well. I
Yeah.
deserved a lot of what I got. So yeah, I didn't really learn how to human until early college, and it's still an ongoing thing.
Dude, learning how to human's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, some
Yeah.
people still, it's
Yeah.
rough out there. It's rough out there.
How were you in
Anyways,
junior high?
I went to a private school, so it was the type of school where there weren't really cliques and we didn't really have like the nerds. Like no one made fun of
Everyone was. The
it was
nerd.
What are you talking
We were
about?
all the
I went-
nerds. It was weird.
What junior high did
And
you
no
go to?
one is
Because I went.
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I went to a Quaker private school, and there were definitely cliques.
Really?
And there were definitely nerds. Like every school, I refuse to believe you didn't have a group of nerds. Maybe you just weren't in the know. But
Well,
your high school had cliques.
we also only had probably 40 kids in my class.
Never mind. What the fuck?
Yeah. It was small. That's why there were no cliques, because everyone like had to literally work and talk to everyone, or else
Ew.
it was just boring. So
I was at the opposite. I went to a private school, and it was basically just cliques.
oh
Yeah.
Like that was it was only cliques essentially.
Wait a minute. All three of you are private school guys?
Mhm.
I'm the only public boy in it? All right.
Yeah. You are, maybe you're lesser, and that, maybe you get the crown this week. This episode. That's how that goes. Maybe.
You got to ride a bus.
Maybe.
I'm jealous.
I know,
It's
right? I
true.
always wanted to go to public school
I didn't get to ride it.
the
Yeah,
entire time.
my brother was public school his entire life. I was private school my entire life. So, and we both turned out
Mm.
pretty much the same. So doesn't seems like it didn't matter all that much. But anyways, now that we've gone down that walk down memory lane, let's jump into some news. Let's talk about video games. Let's get on with the show. It's been a while, so some of this stuff is going to be quote old news, but we still haven't really talked about it too much. I guess we could start off with the Xbox Discord rumor for 10 Billy, as they say in that's
Billy.
that's the lingo in the world of acquisitions.
Dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it like I don't. Maybe I'm just being the middleman here, writing the middle line, but like people were pretty upset about this idea of Microsoft buying Discord, with the reasoning being like, look what they did to Skype. But my response to
And
that is
Mixer.
like, Skype was always shit. Like I didn't ever think Skype had a good period, but maybe I was the outlier there. I don't know. People are kind of worried about them just straight up destroying what Discord is. But in a lot of ways, I feel like Discord is like done with trying to make money. And so they're just trying to like sell it off at this point to get, those advancements that they want to work on and get the cash influx to actually work and build on stuff. And if we can see like, I was talking with Chat the other day, I think it would be incredible if Discord on my PC and Discord on my Xbox was 1-in-1. And if I like logged into Xbox, the ItMe Nation community was right there and I could invite someone who's on it. Like that would be incredible. And I could see that working for all sizes of, friend groups, whether it's 4 or 400, or 4,000 at that point.
Discord already has that built-in game invite system, right? Already baked in for certain games, so you can invite people in your community already.
Yeah.
If you just removed the fear of having Microsoft come in and fuck up something, which I get,
Sure.
but I also don't think like people pointing, I agree with you, pointing to Skype, not a good example. I also don't think pointing to Mixer is a good example.
No.
Right? Mixer was a small product trying to compete against established YouTube and Twitch. Discord is the de facto VoIP service for the vast majority, even outside of gamers, like just casual group discussions. It's still not there with my mom, right? But it's so like I'm less worried about them fucking up the product, and I'm convinced that they're going to do what they did with Minecraft. They're going to buy it, they're going to touch it a little bit, and then they're going to leave it alone and let it just do its thing.
Yeah. One
With
would hope,
updates.
at least.
Yeah.
Co, what are you-
I've heard
or
that
Zeke?
term used so often. I have to look it up. I've used VoIP, VoIP,
Oh,
but I've never understood like
Voice over
What-
internet protocol.
yeah, it's voice.
is that what it is?
Voice over IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Now
look
you
it
know.
up. Thank you.
There you
Now you
go.
know. I know.
Yeah.
It's one of
Informational.
those things that I've just used all my not all my life, but all my gaming life, and never knew like what it stood for. So
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. Now you know.
Now you know.
Zeke, does
I
the Discord Microsoft potential acquisition, does that do anything to you? You're mostly kind of outside of the console ecosystem, I would say. And spend most of your time on the PC. So does that worry you at all, or just whatever? Cool. Congrats to them.
Nah, it doesn't really affect me until it affects me. You know what I'm saying? Like until it like if they start like messing with how Discord works and how it like functions, it's not gonna really bother me or move me one way or the other.
Do you think that this is like a little bit more in line with the whole idea of Microsoft making their shit available as widely as possible? So most of their upcoming titles are available on PC as well as on Xbox, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking like Sea of Thieves, if you have this split community that's pretty healthy, or Call of Duty or something like that, that's pretty healthy across two things, having Discord baked into Windows and Xbox, so you have that as your default, like there is no Xbox Live comms. It is now Discord on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best of both worlds. I want that. It makes it easier to play with my friends.
Totally.
So
Yeah. It exactly makes it easier to go from the PC to the Xbox. When you talk about all this like cross-platform nonsense, Sony will be the outlier there, where it's like, oh fuck, like how do we get Discord
Catch up.
on Sony?
Yep.
Right? Like at some points Microsoft is going to have so much when it comes to like Game Pass and like everything in that ecosystem from PC and console that Sony's just going to be like the exclusive system where you buy it to play Sony exclusives, and that's potentially it, right? Like it could be a little bit. I would be a little bit scared as like a PlayStation owner at this point if this Discord thing comes true.
Do you think that Sony cares though? Don't they own like the majority of the market share
At the moment,
outside
yeah.
of the US, right?
From the last
So
gen, they definitely do. Yeah. I
Oh,
don't
we
know.
don't know with PS5 stuff. You're right, and new consoles or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Co, what about you? What about Discord and potentially buying it and all that?
I'm not too concerned. I mean, as long as they don't change the base functionality of Discord, which I think is in a pretty good place. It's basically the only thing that it does, or it's the only thing doing on the scale that it does what it does well.
Hmm.
So as long as they keep that up, and they don't go too crazy with it, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Wait, Discord for Business
oh god.
competing against Slack because we
Well,
already have
Teams
Microsoft,
is
whatever the
garbage.
Yeah, Teams is
right.
pretty
So
bad.
what if they're
Garbage.
just like, take that, just Discord Business is now, a video. I don't know. I don't use Slack. Do you guys use Slack or have you
Yeah.
used it?
Yeah.
I don't. I
Yeah, I
just
use
know.
Slack.
Is it just text channels?
Only
is there,
for this show, like only for
Oh,
this
really?
group. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
Slack, the thing with Slack is it does a lot, and it's really easy to like customize how you want it to, but it's also wildly expensive.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's that's the big thing with that. If they were to actually try to do a competitor to it using Discord, it would probably be separate. I'm thinking, I'm hoping they keep Discord for gamers,
Yeah.
gamers. But at the same time, they may grow it out or use the technology as a foundation for another technology, maybe, or something
Gotcha.
like
well, I have a question for you guys for ease of use for like someone like me who I use Discord and Slack only to like communicate with like person to person or group, like that kind of stuff. I don't use it for much else than that.
Mhm.
What does Slack do better than Discord? Because I would much rather like just have everything in Discord, but there are certain things or certain people that want to use Slack over Discord, mostly business wise.
Right. I think that's
I don't
the
know.
distinction is that Slack just has better tools for business, whereas Discord has better tools for, I hate saying gamers, but for gamers. Like it's built
Okay.
into
it's easier
so
to
many
use
different-
for
I think-
gamers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
the difference that was explained to me as somebody who doesn't use Slack is that Slack is more good for conversation and threads, and Discord is like an IRC channel where
Yes.
it's like if you're not staring at it during the time of the conversation, once the text is off your screen, the likelihood of you going back to it and using any of it is very small. Versus
Yeah.
like Slack is like, here's your info, use it and you can respond better.
Another big thing for that's important to mention when comparing the two is Discord is much more of like a consumer oriented product, where Slack is much more of like a business related product. Like somebody
Yeah.
just said in my chat, there's much better documentation for Slack. There's far more add-ons. There's more integrations on a public scale in terms of like business related things that can be plugged into it. It's kind of they cater to different audiences, and they have different functions in their different like spheres.
Also, as far as I know, Slack does not have a video or voice component, whereas Discord
That's-
obviously
yeah.
does. So that's kind of a bigger deal. Like Slack is there to get you into a Zoom call, right? Like you are sent links in Slack to join a call, whereas in Discord, it's like, hey, I'll just give you a call right
Chat's saying
now.
Slack has voice now.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. Maybe that's part of their premium plan.
Slack has video and voice. Oh, we don't use any of that.
Yeah, we don't
I
use it
didn't
at
know that.
all. I've never even looked into that, or if it's part of their like free, their free package. Oh yeah, so I can call Zeke right now, but I don't think I can video call as I'm looking at this. It must be part of their like premium package or something. I don't know. I think Slack was first to market when it comes to Slack versus Teams, right? Like that's why Slack is so early. It's so engrossed in like the San Francisco world is that it was just first to market. I think.
I thought I don't know if it was first to market, but it definitely got in with all of the techies as like it was one of those startup babies that everybody wanted to see succeed. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was in the right place at the right time, regardless of who was first.
Totally.
It was also just a lot better than Teams.
Or-
Like
and
I
that-
Or it
personally
is
don't.
better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't use Teams myself, but I've spoken to people that use it, especially for their jobs regularly, and they say it's nightmarish.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the Lotus Notes of text-based team communication.
Yeah. I
Ooh.
think I saw like this morning, and chat's gonna have to tell me the capabilities of this if you guys know. I think you can now DM anyone on Slack as of this morning, which is like a pretty big deal when it comes to that. Because then it's more like Discord than like Slack, from my understanding, is that it's contained within that one company Slack, whereas Discord's just global.
Can I just say real quick, my chat has erupted with like two different sides. I feel like there's a battlefield with two different sides. Teams is fine. Teams is garbage. Teams is okay now. Teams used to be like, oh my lord, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinionation on Teams.
Hey, look, I'd love to still be using IRC. All right, I would
Right.
prefer.
Hey, I'd still be on
IRC.
XP if I could.
Give me IRC any day of the week. I'll go join some QuakeNet and hang out, ride the server splits. It'd be great. Steel Ops. 10
Maybe
out of
Teams
10.
has gotten a lot better.
Listen,
lately. Yeah.
we're going next tonight. I'll see you in Vent. Right?
Exactly. Vent. Old school Vent for sure.
Ventrilo. Oh man.
I think Vent still exists in some capacity. Like you could,
It does.
yeah. Anyways, that's kind of the whole Discord thing. We'll see if it actually comes true. It's still rumor at this point. Microsoft was not out there claiming that it was true or false at all. And it might be someone else entirely. I think that's just mostly an evaluation of Discord at the end of the day for 10 billion, which kind of seems like a lot, but when you factor into the idea that people buy companies like that for the information that they have, not necessarily for the actual product, makes a lot of sense when you think about how many people right now are chatting on Discord about certain things and how many companies would love to have that information to do whatever the fuck they want with it. Plan ahead, see what's going to start trending, etc. Oh, nice. That effect is back. I love it.
Oh,
What
nice,
the
nice.
Fuck.
I wish that would work on all
That-
cameras. I wish we
That,
could
I
know.
want that
And
as
then
a
I'm pro-
I want
now
that
I'm
as a
frozen.
transition.
Yeah.
I need that as
Right?
a transition effect.
Like little glitchiness.
I love it.
It's a good
Oh.
freeze though.
Yeah.
freeze,
now
there
it
we
good
go.
froze.
freeze.
Oh, that is. I like that.
Yeah.
You're having a lot of fun. It looks like.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks to John. An interesting statistic: 2020 Q4 from Microsoft Teams has roughly 200 million users.
Holy
They
shit.
may take technology from Discord, but they certainly wouldn't rebrand anything.
Damn.
So apparently now, especially, it seems to be doing all right.
yeah.
at least. So that's a lot of people.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Someone also said in my chat, I didn't know this, Salesforce bought Slack for 27 billion, to put in perspective. So
Oh, but Salesforce, that is such a I mean, I guess for Microsoft too, it makes sense, right? But I was like, Salesforce is the pinnacle, like of the tech sector in terms of like
size
a
and
Titan.
scope.
So right, yeah. You know, so like it's not shocking to me that they would go in and take the big tech sector like communication platform, similar to the way Microsoft would buy this up and roll it into Game Pass or some shit like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think there was a couple bits of news in the past 9 months or so that was definitely along the lines of like, yeah, Xbox is going to be buying shit, right? It's not just going to be Bethesda. They're going to be getting some more things. Discord is definitely not one that I had considered, but hey, if Microsoft is trying to win themselves back into kind of the fight, so to speak, of Sony versus Xbox, which they just absolutely got trounced in last generation, they're doing
Been a
pretty
long,
good.
yeah, it's been a long couple years for him, huh?
It has. It's been rough. I think it's very interesting to me to look at the past 2 or 3 months, and it seems like more recently, it seems like every day, but almost every week, Xbox is like, here's a big announcement of something. Like, we've got a billion games coming to Game Pass, or now we've got EA games coming to Game Pass. Now there's a rumor that Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass. You're literally going to buy every fucking game from Game Pass one day. And Sony's like, hey, we bought Evo. Does anyone care? We bought Evo, guys. Remember that company that
Yeah.
kind of got screwed by Mr. Wizard because he did a bunch of nefarious shit? Like, remember that, guys? We bought him. And then people are like, anyways, Discord, 10 billion, right? Like, they just move on with the conversation. It's been interesting to see all that. I'm curious to see where we go from here. in a year where I think we're starting to see like the ramp up of COVID again when it comes to delays. So I don't know how many other like big releases we're going to have for the rest of the year, but there's already been a bunch more things delayed this past month. And
I'm
think
so bored, JP. I
we're gonna
need
see a lot more.
games.
Yeah. Well, we still got some, right? We got Outriders here in a couple days. We've got some potential stuff for later this year, but
Disco Elysium full voice acting pack.
Yeah.
Evil Genius 2.
there's some games. They're not the AAA. I guess Horizon Zero Dawn is maybe the biggest game, right? Like for
Yeah.
later this year. Horizon Zero
Yeah.
Dawn 2. And then if
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous.
true. Halo Infinite might, if that comes out, if that ships this year.
If it ships.
Yeah. If it actually ships.
Nier will be a lot of fun. It's shaping up to look pretty cool, especially for people like me that didn't play the first one or the original.
Yeah, that's next one.
They're making a sequel, a direct sequel to it?
No, they're remaking Nier.
Yeah, they're remaking the
perfect.
first one.
It's time for me to play the game and see
Exactly.
why there's so much fucking lewd photos on my timeline of this blind girl.
Oh no, that's Nier
Now
Automata.
even more. Oh, that's Nier Automata. That's the second one. So basically, there was
I'm not
Nier
playing the original.
Replicant.
Fuck it.
Oh no, there was Nier Replicant, and it was like the old one. And then there's Nier Automata, and that's the one that you know. And now you know how they just remade Demon Souls.
Yeah,
they're remaking the original Nier. So like totally new graphics, totally new story. Like they're basically just taking that and making it a game that would come out today.
Yeah,
it's actually looking really good. Like it's
to
looking
be
pretty
in
badass.
it.
No, but another even lewder girl is.
Yes, there's the lewds continue.
I'm back in. I'm back in.
In the Nier world.
We got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see. No, Nier
Automata.
Other one, Automata was like I saw everybody play it when it first came out, and I was like, this doesn't look like the type of game I would normally play. But I have grown as a gamer over time, and now I kind of want to give it a shot.
It's worth it, man. It's someone who held
Great
out for a very
opportunity.
long time. It's worth it.
Well, I was gonna say you can like the new one comes out. The remake comes out at the end of next month. You can do the remake and then just go right into Automata. You're doing like 1 and 2. Booda boom. There you
Also,
go. Booba boom even.
It's very true. I believe Automata is now on Game Pass, so you can just grab it for whatever you pay for Game Pass these days, $10 or $1 if you're new, etc. It's worth it, Jericho. As someone who held off on that series for a very long time, it's worth it. It's
all right.
One of the best, possibly the best soundtrack in all of gaming for me. I went to an actual symphony to watch them perform said soundtrack in Chicago.
Really?
It was worth it. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, that sells me more than a lot of things.
Yeah,
not as much as the booba, but it's up there. It's pretty high.
Jeez.
So I was fucking with my camera, of course, because it's dying apparently.
It's got some cool things on.
So you have not played it, right, Jericho?
No, I've not played either, and I've only watched maybe a couple minutes of Nier Automata gameplay.
Okay. Did they tell you to like play through the game a few times?
Well, I will
like
never play through it a few times, so
it's super important, I guess.
Well,
I don't really replay games,
and apparently I didn't get like I didn't get the experience like that. Everyone has told me that. Like I got to an ending and I was like, "It was a pretty good game. I really enjoyed it." Like, oh, dude, no.
Well,
how long is the game?
30-ish hours.
Yeah, fuck no, I can't. I got things to do. I can't put 120 hours into a single player game.
It's not necessarily, it's not replaying it at all, is what I will say. But
yeah, all right, I'll just take it.
It is a game that you can only experience once. And if that is revealed to you and what's actually happening, it kind of takes away from the game.
Okay. But I'll take it in stride. I'll give the upcoming game a chance.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring it up,
it's about 40 hours, and that's like the whole experience.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
That is much
you
more
will get
doable.
everything done in about 40.
Yeah,
perfect. That's much more doable.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring it up is because that was like told to me immediately after, like, because I think I played it like a little bit on stream and then I finished it offline and I was like, "What do you think?" It was like, "That's pretty good." It's like, "Well, how far did you get?" It's like, you didn't. It's not actually the ending, like thing. It's just like a chapter, apparently. So
yes, that's a way. There are up to ending E or something in that game, and that is the quote full game.
So if he's actually going to play it, we should just stop talking.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to
right
stop.
now.
Exactly. That's 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Great.
You are correct.
And when you're done, we'd love to get you back in. We can talk all about it.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm writing it down.
It's a hell of a thing for sure. It had I think Co will say the same. It had a very large emotional response.
It is one of the more unique games I have ever played.
Yeah. Yeah. Good way.
One thing I will say, there is a way to keep that booty out the whole time. Ask your chat about it when you play it. It's like, where'd the booty go? Just ask him, like, there's a way to
There's a way to. All
Yeah.
right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
By the
I
way,
think with the important
maybe
stuff.
like
Good job, man.
top 3 booties in all of video games.
That's
But
strong.
number 1 best wet booty in all of video games.
It's very strong. Very strong.
See, I talk about the things.
He's a
that
man of the people.
He's a man of the
video
people.
game
Yeah.
player
He's a
watcher.
man of the
Like,
people.
Yeah.
I'm a man of the people. Right.
You
Look,
see, this is why I hate video
These
games. They
glasses
appeal
are
to
hurting my
male
eyes.
fantasy. All right.
Oh my God. There's a reason that Nier Automata is dominating the Rule 34 world and has for several years is what Zeke's getting at for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else is out there? Sony once again just trying to capture the news cycle. They put out information on their new controller for VR a couple
Not a
days
new
ago.
headset.
Yeah,
Just controllers.
just controllers. Like
I will say that it actually, you know what do you know what they do before I start talking about it?
they have
like what do they
adaptive
change?
triggers, haptic feedback, and finger touch detection, and more. So
They're trying to
Right.
compete with the index controllers.
Yes,
Yeah, the Vive
yes.
controllers, yeah.
Or the yeah.
Yeah,
Which are
they-
fantastic. Literally head and shoulders above any other system
They
that
are.
I've ever used. It's so good.
They're the best for sure.
Especially when used, like in Alex, like that was an incredible
man.
experience. Like actually holding the can and then crushing the controller to have it like actually do that, and that is such a surreal experience.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep.
Oh, someone in my chat said they have announced that a new headset is happening. There's just no details yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Excellent.
That is nice because there's tend to be the more accessible options, right? Of the VR system, that and like
Totally.
the Oculus Quest or whatever their mobile one is. So hey, that's good.
I hope it's as good as the index, because that, like all you guys have said, are 10 out of 10. So the best and the
I
best.
like that night mode box. Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty.
Yeah, it's the night box. That's the intro.
And back to the intro. Welcome to Drop Frames.
Look, it had to happen. It's been 2 weeks. I didn't have that in my memory. What else is out there in the world of, I guess, just continuing along with the hardware? Bloomberg is continuing to report on this new Switch model that is poised to release later this year, they say. 7-inch, 720p OLED screen, using DLSS, which is the big bit of news here, a better CPU, more memory, and launching with a bunch of games. They're saying that it will launch with a $399 price tag, which I think is $100 more than the current Switch price. For me, the big thing here is DLSS. DLSS is a scaling thing by AI that NVIDIA has put out there. I've used it in a lot of different games. I guess most notably like Call of Duty uses DLSS. Control uses DLSS.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs, the premier DLSS.
Look at those.
He's not wrong. It
reflections.
technically has those settings in that game. Yeah.
It does. It does. Yeah, I guess Cyberpunk. Like, there's a bunch of big games that have used and utilized DLSS, and it's awesome. It's essentially like it can put out a 720p image and upscale it via AI to 4K, and it looks really, really good. It's very hard to notice that your game's like being upscaled, and the FPS gains that you can get from it are pretty good, pretty astronomical in a lot of cases. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see Nintendo go that route. If they are actually going that route, this is all still rumor / potential leaks of all this stuff. But I guess the big question is, Jericho, where do you sit in the world of the Switch fandom? Because we're not necessarily big Switch folk.
Yeah. Well, because I hadn't had a handheld console or anything since like the Game Boy Advanced, right? Like I had every Game Boy up until that point, and then I started having to drive to school, so that can't play games doing that. I never got back into it, and I knew the DS and everything was incredible, the 3DS Max and stuff.
Mhm.
Got into it with the Switch because I wanted to play Smash. The new Smash or Smash Ultimate was. I'm a big Smash guy,
Sure.
and it was mobile, so it was good. Will I buy the new one? Probably, yeah. But the only games that I've played on the Switch are like I haven't played Zelda. I know, I understand, but I'm not. I'm probably not going to. But there's great games on there. I just like for the average person, kind of like, why would you upgrade? If I mean, DLSS is good. It's going to be really great. But also, I don't. It's not like they have like launch titles for it that are going to be like PS5 level launch titles, right? It's still going to be comparable.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong though. Like it could be that big of a jump in quality. I just don't. I don't know.
Well, we haven't heard too much about a lot of big games that are like hardcore focused with Bayonetta and Breath of the Wild 2 and something
Oh.
Metroid related, maybe a new Mario. That could all launch, right? With the Switch, the Super Switch, which is what I hope they call it.
Well,
but
just looking at like, did you watch the Nintendo Direct with the new Pokemon games? And they
Yeah.
showcased that
Yes.
open world Pokemon game, and it looked desolate and awful.
yeah,
Um,
and ran
that's the
really
kind
bad.
of
Yeah.
right. That's the kind of thing where I'm hoping that they can utilize a newer gen processor and RAM and DLSS to make that look good. But also, it is Nintendo. I don't really have a huge like standard bar that I think they're going to hit. I think it's just going to do things just fine, and that's enough for most people.
It's enough for
I don't think it's
Nintendo.
going to. Yeah.
Yeah. They've never. I would say, I guess the 64 was the last time they were kind of like on top of the tech world, right? Like they started to focus more, or not tech world and hardware levels, hardware power, I should say. At that point, like the PS3 and
Oh.
360 started to push forward a little bit further, and Nintendo was like, yeah, but we've got cool art. We don't need to necessarily have the fastest / best console. We can just
Yeah,
continue
GameCube-
making art. Yeah.
GameCube
good.
was the last like I'd
Yeah.
say main thing they had.
Yeah.
Also, none of the Nintendo like heavy hitters need great graphics.
Right.
Like all the games that that Mario's really known for, they can get away with pretty much any graphics they want to at the end of the day. So they don't really have that need to design like super high end realistic systems.
Yeah. I will say, as someone that has played Breath of the Wild in 4K 60 through other means, it looks really fucking good. Like it's very impressive looking. And
Right.
if they can push that on like their own system, then like it's very fucking good. But you're 100%
Do you
right,
think
Cody.
though that
You
they
don't
would
need-
have games that would look significantly different between the two?
I don't know.
I mean, they'd still have to design the games for the previous Switch and have that in mind, and then probably just
Yeah.
have like small enhancements. Kind of remember how the PS4 Pro
Yeah.
and the base was, where it's like nothing was a lot better on the Pro. Probably for marketing reasons, if nothing else. But
yeah.
and I'm sure there are things that would look great, like Rise. I bet something like Rise could take
60 FPS bump.
a big, absolutely could have a big hit on something like this. But
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
See.
at that point, they would have, what, 3 different SKUs for the Switch. They'd have, like, the only handheld version. They'd have the, like, base model. And then they'd have, like, the quote, pro model or whatever. And that's a
That's
lot.
a good lineup.
Yeah, it's a good lineup, but it starts to get a lot, right? Like, when Jill goes to fucking GameStop and gets a game system for their kid, like, they're going to be confused as shit, right?
Right. But I don't know. I think that Nintendo does a better job of kind of labeling. Each one has its own space, right? It's handheld only. It's your generic model, and then it's the performance model versus like, when I'm talking to my mom and we're talking about Xbox, and one has a disk drive, the other one doesn't. One has less memory. Like they all have various, I guess, like options on the same line, but I feel like at least with the Nintendo, there's a set reason for each one, and it's not as nuanced. But I get where you're coming from. It could be a
Yeah.
little confusing. But like the Xbox X1S or whatever the fuck, like how do you tell your mom which one you want?
Yeah.
Like-
And I don't like, I mean, that's been out for a while. Is that, I haven't heard any like horror stories, but I guess that's because with COVID, you're not going into a GameStop, right? Like
Oh,
you're shopping
yeah.
online. So I guess that confusion is there. It would have to be. But I just remember, like, Chad brought up a good point with the 3DS when there was a billion different models for the 3DS. I remember my aunt going and being like, "Hey, I want to get Caleb, my cousin, a 3DS. Which one do I get?" And I was like, "I don't. There's. What do you want?
I don't know.
Do you want like the 3D one? Do you want the flat one? Do you want like the base one? I don't fucking know. It was complicated, so they might run into that, but they've been there before, so maybe they know how to handle it better this time around. If this is something that actually comes out, so we will see. If it means I get to see more Nintendo games at higher resolution and higher FPS, then sure, I'll pay $100. Like, you know, I'm the outlier there. I'll buy whichever system/hardware is the best, because of the job that I do and the games that I want to play. But I don't know if that's the case for everyone else, right? Like $100 on a $300 system is a pretty large chunk up and change. So we will see. It depends on, I guess, what games are coming out with it. If that ships later this year. The other obviously thing to worry about is the whole semiconductor shortage. Like, if that comes out, you can't buy anything. You're not gonna be able to buy a PS5, a Xbox, a Switch, graphics. You're just not gonna get anything because the scalpers are gonna get before you, no matter what. So they got to figure out
It's gonna be rough.
that whole
That's
thing.
for sure.
Yeah. Even a car. Did you guys know that cars are also, like, the production lines of cars are slowed down because they can't get the semiconductors? So they're just building the car frames and then, like, putting them to the sides in places to then finally get the semiconductor chips. I didn't realize it was that crazy. That it was affecting, like, cars. But sure, why not? They have computers in them now. The smart cars exist. So we'll see. Hopefully that gets better over time. What else is out there in terms of news that we missed? Jericho, did you play any Genshin Impact? Were you a big?
I did.
Okay.
I played when I was looking for something to fill the time of quarantine, and I was looking for like a game that I could play off stream or like very relaxed. And I'm a weeb, so I was like, hell yeah, dude, anime MMO, let's go. Game's pretty boring for me. Like I played about 15 hours. I liked that it was mobile. I liked that you could. I enjoyed. I don't mind the gotcha games type shit.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothered me was the lack of actual fighting most of the time. Like, it was a lot of running dialogue, and then like the fighting was interesting, but the dungeons were, I don't know. It just didn't click with me.
It's a weird
but I
game.
appreciate it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I appreciated it.
Yeah.
So
Well, a lot of people did because they already passed $1 billion in less than 6 months. That beat Pokemon Go by 3. So
yeah,
it's doing well. Like,
Yeah.
There you go.
people are into spending money on Genshin Impact, it turns out, and will probably continue to do so. But
it's the mobile that was interesting to me. If I was flying, and and I travel a lot, like that's why I played old school RuneScape. It's on your phone.
Yeah.
Played on airplane Wi-Fi. So
yeah, well, I guess continue to see how big that game can get. Gotham Knights was delayed to 2022. We were talking about delays. That is the Batman game without Batman. That is the 4-person like co-op game that they revealed, I think, alongside the Suicide Squad from Rocksteady sometime last year. What else do we got? Forspoken. Did you guys see this trailer coming out of the Square Enix thing? It was probably the most exciting trailer that they showed. I can put it up on the screen.
Warframe game.
Yeah, it's got movement that is very much like Warframe. You are 100% correct there. It also looks very pretty, and I want to say this is the game that Gary Whitta is writing for. It's from the Luminous engine.
Oh, Project Athia. Yeah,
Yeah.
they renamed. What was it? Forsaken? Is that what you said it was?
Forspoken. They went
Forspoken.
with the Forspoken.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I didn't. There's no gameplay in this, is it? It's just cinematic.
Yeah. Here's the trailer. Yeah. It looks to be like an open world game where you have to use magic to exist and survive.
Is there no audio?
There can be. I don't know. I'm worried about the DMCA
Oh,
aspect of
yeah,
this.
yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was. So when I covered the Square conference, one of the things that Square did, which I think is hilarious and also sad at the same time, they sent me a timeline of the 30-minute Square conference with the timestamps of what was DMCA-able.
That's kind of cool.
And like
Yeah.
of the 30 minutes, I think it was about 13 minutes that I just had to mute or risk DMCA. And from like a viewer's perspective, that was kind of shit. Right.
I
But
skipped the whole thing because of that.
yeah, I am glad that Square did that, right? So the channel doesn't see any issues. We deleted the VOD after the fact, regardless, but it was a little strange. A little strange.
This looks pretty.
Yeah, that's Forspoken. The movement thing that Ko was saying that looks like Warframe, is that, did they already
No, it's
do
further.
it?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I think
it's further.
I think it's after this. You can slow it down and it very much has the like spins and pirouettes that you see.
It has the little like bullet jumping, the bullet
Yes.
drive and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. It is
Transitioning from one move into another, then jumping out of it, and
very
right,
much
right
like
there.
Warframe.
That is iconic
Fluid
Warframe
movement.
stuff.
Yeah. Also the bear
Cool.
from Annihilation, which I'm a big fan of. That bear's great.
Did you say it was an MMO or what? Or single player? Like, what's the?
It's open
scope
world.
of this? Open world.
Yeah.
Single player.
Open world single
Single
player.
player.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that's what I was
Same
gonna
engine
say.
as Final Fantasy 15. Oh,
yes, it's the Luminous engine. Yeah. So that looks cool. That was Life is Strange 3 was also in there in that event. They announced the Avengers stuff, which I'll talk about because we played a little bit of that. And that game's a game, to say the least. We'll talk about that though in the later sections of the show. I don't know if there's anything. Balan Wonderworld was also shown in there, which I think is out. And then a couple other things that were smaller.
Wait, I think I misheard that. What did you say? That what Underworld?
Balan. I don't. It's a. I think
I
it's
thought
bad.
you said blonde. I thought you said blonde Underworld, and I was like,
No.
I was
No.
I was
It's
like,
just
what
like,
game is
what?
that?
No. It's BALAN.
let me check this out.
Yeah. It's
Blonde Underworld.
Not very good.
Who was the actress in Underworld? Was she blonde?
Kate Beckinsale. No, she was not.
Yeah, and she is blonde naturally, so I think
Really?
is
I
she?
didn't know.
You know, I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
Oh, she's absolutely not.
Okay.
In no way, shape, or form.
There you go. What else is out or coming out? Chat, did I miss any of the big news? It's been 2 weeks, so I forget like what we haven't actually talked about. Did we talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade? Was that a thing that we discussed? The Final Fantasy
remember talking
VII
about
DLC. It's coming out with the PS5 updates in June.
with Yuffie?
Is it Yuffie or Yuffie? Is it Yuffie?
I call her Yuffie.
Chat, where do
But
we...
I mean, nobody knows because in 7 they didn't have any voice acting really. So it's like it'd be either. I say Yuffie.
I've always said Yuffie. Yeah.
Yuffie just sounds odd to say, so I think it would be Yuffie. Everyone's saying
Yuffie sounds
Yuffie.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think it's Yiffy.
Like
No.
Goofy. Yuffie.
Definitely not
I think-
Yuffie.
That's okay. Now listen, we're treading on territory
Dangerous
here.
territory.
That,
Yes, Yes,
I might
we
get
are.
a little NSFW if you know what I'm saying.
we are indeed. Yeah. That's the thing that's coming out, as well as a free upgrade for the PS5 if you're already on the game. Here's a little bit of that footage. It looks very good. This trailer is very weird because they put things like lighting here at the bottom and textures and fog as ways of showing different things off. But it looks and runs a lot better than the PS4 version. Not to say that the PS4 version didn't look good and run well. This just is better. So much so that it depending on what else is out around that time, like maybe it's time for the hard mode run. Because I definitely did not finish up hard mode. And that looks really good graphic wise. HDR, all that stuff. Although I think it already had HDR, but better graphics all in all. Looks very good. Oh, this comes out the day after Ratchet and Clank. I don't know any more about that then. I gotta play Ratchet and Clank. Were you a Final Fantasy
Are you-
guy at all, Jericho?
I've never played. It's it's funny. I watched this trailer because I said the like Sony and Final Fantasy has the same branding for like 25 years, and they actually make like this text and like the graphics and stuff. No, I never got into it. I feel like everybody had their group of friends that was into specific types of games. Mine were always shooting games, but it looks fun. I just know big sword guys, Cloud. That's it.
That's about all you need to know, really,
All right.
at the end of the day. Yeah. Zeke, what were you going to say?
It's gone now.
Okay, it's gone.
Moment's gone.
It's gone. Moment's gone. Yeah. This also, I think, comes out right after the new Guilty Gear as well. So, as usual, video game companies are putting out every game at the same time.
They're coordinating.
Yeah.
Tell you, man, they have to be
3 or 4 day period. Yeah. I think that's it in terms of big news, unless you guys have anything you want to throw into the mix here. Your chat is throwing anything into the mix. I'm just kind of scrolling around here. Dying Light got an update in the sense of Dying Light 2.
Oh yeah,
they
their video.
They talked about, they said, hey guys, the game's still being worked on. Here's an update. Let us continue working on the game. And here's like 3 seconds of some low FPS footage. Thanks.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, Co, you're in that world. You're a big Dying Light fan. Was that needed? Was that the type of thing we were like, cool, great, I'm glad they did that?
I think it definitely helped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of tumultuousness associated with Dying Light 2, especially, they were involved. They had some writers involved in the big kind of sexual harassment scandal that passed a while back.
Yeah.
They had some people. They announced way too early, so they missed some deadlines and milestones. And they people have been just kind of assuming and thinking that there's been a pretty troubled development process, and they've been kind of quiet, which has only added to the storm there. So I think them coming out and doing what they did was a good move. I think it sounded like a very genuine video, and honestly, it made me feel a lot better about the project. So
Cool.
Dying Light, for I think a lot of us, is a when it's done thing, because a lot of us really liked Dying Light 1, and we're kind of hoping that Dying Light 2 can continue that, take that torch and run with it. So I mean, I still have high hopes for it, a lot more than Vampire the Masquerade, I'll tell you that, Bloodlines 2. And I hope they kind of do what they want to do. It sounds like they're on the right track.
Yeah.
I know, dude. It makes me want to cry, too. It's such an unfortunate situation.
Pepe laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's games in a rough spot.
No, since I've been playing Persona 3, like, I've been inundated with, like, hey, did you hear? Hey, did you hear? Shin Megami Tensei. I don't know how to fucking say it.
SMT.
SMT 3 Nocturne is getting an HD release.
Yeah. I've always
May 24th.
I as someone who I think all three of us are like pretty big Persona fans, more recently than not. I've never played a single SMT game. But it is
Me neither.
They're like identical, like the same persona are in that game. I've just never jumped in on any of them. So
Have you ever looked at you know how they have those like timeline trees for Zelda? Have you looked at one of those for SMT?
no, I'm sure
It's
it's crazy.
Fucking insane. Like there's
Yeah.
like 50 games
Yeah, I know
just
it's
out
old.
of that universe.
Yeah, it's an old franchise, for sure. There's a lot of shit going on, which is maybe another reason why I'm so wary of like jumping in, right? Because in some form you would think you would want to understand that type of stuff to appreciate it more, but I don't know anything about it. Persona's got style. That's what I like, right? Like SMT has never really been one to grab me with its like historical focus, somewhat. Like it's not new age stuff. I guess it's not modern day, and that has always made me shy away. So we didn't talk about. Co, you've been to Poland. How do you pronounce the Cyberpunk director's name? The lead gameplay designer former lead gameplay designer of Cyberpunk 27. He left. What's his name?
I have no idea, but I can say this. Here's the thing: there are that was like the people that announced that were trying to preface it and stage it like it was this huge bombshell news and all this stuff. But a few
Yeah.
quick things. First of all, not uncommon after products release for stations like that to leave the project.
Sure.
Second of all, he was one of 4 directors, from what I understand, and he was the one that was focusing on the crafting system.
So it's good he's
So-
gone.
I did not say that. But
Nice.
yeah, the TLDR is it doesn't really, it's not a huge deal. It doesn't really say or should say anything about the project and them trying to save it. Speaking of which, we should have patch notes out like this week of their first major patch. They did release a little 4-video kind of mini look at the new update coming out, and it's doing some pretty good things. They're improving the police spawning, improving the driving. They're doing some bug fixing and things of that nature. So there's some good stuff coming, but we still haven't gotten like the patch notes, which I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting. So hopefully we will get that very soon.
Yeah. How's that game? What's the conversation around that game? Have people moved on from like
I think most most people like it. They've come to accept that it was basically a failed launch and that it needed more time. I think as time goes on, people are appreciating the better parts more, which I think is fundamentally a good thing. But at the same time, I mean, it is now established that it was a failed launch, and the important part is that CDPR has essentially fallen from grace. Now that the dust has settled, people are seeing that CDPR attempted to mislead people to buy the product. Like there's no way around it. Like the way that they did everything and the way they handled the console release, like they not only rushed it out the door in an unstable state, they tried to essentially lie to people saying it was in a better state than it was, and then they tried to restrict reviews so people would buy it and hopefully not return it, essentially. And it was see the biggest victim, I don't want to say victim because it's not like they didn't do it to themselves. The biggest fall in all of this is CDPR. And now we can only kind of hope that over time they do whatever they need to do to get Cyberpunk back to the point that it should be. But even if they do, like, nothing is. It's very similar to the release of Fallout 76 with Bethesda, where it's like no matter how much better you make the product, what happened will always have happened. And that golden age of CDPR being the chosen company is gone. That is now a history, and it will probably never come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, as a good way to say it is the person just said it's irreversible damage. Like no matter what they do at this point, they will never be able to be that company again.
Do you
Trust
think,
has been lost?
not necessarily having much to do with video games, except the fact that it was a video game. Do you think that will impact the conversation or the general hype or just watching of Witcher Season 2 later this year? You think that's going to have any impact on it whatsoever? Like, are we going to see like calls to boycott The Witcher Season 2 on Twitter?
I don't think so. Witcher is an established, successful franchise.
Yeah.
So and not only that, the Witcher show has always been kind of disconnected from the franchise. So I think it'll be just fine, to be honest. I think it would be crazy if they now. Funny enough, I think I remember them specifically saying that there was some kind of cyberpunk animated thing coming out at some point later.
I do
remember in one of the wires they talked about. Yeah, so I don't know if it'll impact that. That would be, I think, a question that would be a little bit more connected. But even then, I mean, it's all of anything related to CDPR and cyberpunk is going to be dependent on CDPR and seeing how they support the people that have already bought their game, which essentially they can only do through updates, fixes, and enhancements. So again, this first patch, which we're supposed to see like literally any day now, in terms of what it has, will be a big look into what they're planning on doing with this game.
Yeah. We will see. What else is there?
Doom 3 DLC or Doom Eternal DLC? Doom Eternal DLC 2.
Yeah,
it was fun.
We all played it.
It was easier than the first DLC.
I agree.
For sure.
Now, were you a not ultra nightmare difficulty man?
No, ultra violence right below.
Okay, all right. Is that what you played the first one on? Yeah,
I mean, I like the difficulty, but I don't want to restart the whole level if I die, and I die quite often. So I decided to go with ultra violent. Actually, Nightmare is you restart the whole level, right?
Yeah.
Or do you start the
No,
game?
no.
over?
There's ultra violence, and then nightmare, which is the hardest difficulty, and then ultra nightmare, which is the hardest
Yeah.
difficulty with permadeath.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm ultra violence for sure.
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked the new enemies that they added. I liked the new arenas that they had. The change of scenery was cool. Fighting in like a less like, torn down hellscape of Earth. But I was disappointed. No spoilers with the final boss. I didn't think he would. I thought it was such a kind of a letdown, even though it was kind of difficult. And I think that it was just overall the arenas were easier than the first one.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said, 100%.
Oh yeah, and the sound effect of the stun. Who the fuck put that in there? When
Sound
you
effect
stun
of the
an
stun.
enemy and it gives the chirpy bird sound effect with like lights with like the stars above their head. I'm
Oh,
like, what?
I
Who
never
is
even
this?
heard that. I didn't realize it had a sound effect to it.
Yeah,
Nothing
so
makes me feel
bad.
Doom like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's Looney Tunes. You're right. 100%.
Yeah.
So bad.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that there was a sound effect there. I missed it, I guess. But yeah, I agree everything. The final I think the final boss thing I'll save for later in terms of a bigger discussion, because it made me think like, what is a good FPS final boss off the top of my head? And I realized
Well,
they're kind of hard to do. in
they
general.
are, but
But-
like if you think about the ending of the first of the actual game of Doom Eternal and some of the people you're fighting, like the gravity of those fights just hit way different than the supposed be all end all of the Doom. Like they
Eternal
kind of
thing. Yeah.
eternal thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's a part of a larger discussion, which we'll save for a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to talk about the other
Yeah.
stuff.
I actually really liked it, but again, we can talk about it later.
Yeah,
I did like it. I did like it, but
Yeah, the arenas, I agree 100%. Like they were. I think I felt like this DLC more. This DLC was them learning from the first DLC's difficulty and figuring out how to make things fun difficult. Whereas the
Right.
first DLC was like, go fuck yourself. Like difficulty. Like it was really like a lot. But when I died in this, it was like, that was fun. I died in a way that was fun. It was a fun death.
yeah.
Fuck these devs still. Like they are real bastards for the difficulty of this game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This arena that we're in right now was the hardest one for me. I think I died 15 times on this one.
I agree.
Just because like it was a long fight and there were several different like tiers of enemies. But you're right. It was for the most part a little less frustrating and more kind of like a sit back and just enjoy the ride, which maybe I kind of wanted at the end because it's been how many months since I've played and you're so rusty when you get back on Doom.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
like,
dude, the first in DLC 2, the first like challenge portal or gate or whatever, I was stuck on that the longest because it's exactly what you just said. You have to learn
Yeah.
how to replay Doom. You have to learn the counters. You have to think about it as more like a puzzle rather than like an FPS in that sense. And that's the one that took me the longest. Conversely, the third one, I one shot. Partially because like at that point I was into it. The other part being the guys that you headshot that give you 200
Yeah.
HP are like kind of cheating.
they're so easy and they spawn immediately. And it's just like you just pop their head, full ammo, full like, and also like the weapon too that they give you gives you shield, right? So
Yeah.
I felt like I was never strapped for ammo or shield like I used to be, where I'd be like panicking for an ad to light on fire or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing
Yeah,
that was really
go.
nice about the DLC too is that, like, I really like how the second tier of the challenges were just as hard or harder than the last DLC.
Yeah.
Like, they still had, for people that wanted it, that really tough, brutal, holy shit, there's another wave after this feeling.
Yeah.
Where the base game, even on Nightmare, was so much easier. Like, you could tell, I bet you that the devs like were constantly like, we should probably take that out. We should probably take that out. Like they were just, you didn't get that overwhelming feeling. Like where the first DLC, every single room felt like those second challenge areas.
Mhm.
The second DLC clearly has a more like, okay, for people that just want to get through it, we're gonna make it a challenging, fun experience. But the people that really want to try themselves, they even have like the warning now, like please keep in mind this is designed for serious people only. Like they have their heads in the right place for that, and it was definitely some growth, I would say, in terms of more tuning that properly.
Yeah,
that's a good point too, because and I actually think that's probably a better way to go, just so you don't have the knee jerk reactionary like I can't finish the tutorial level, this is too hard for me type thing, while still giving like it doesn't interrupt you at all. You finish a challenge, it pops up, it's like you want to keep going. And you can be like, no, I'm going to move on with the story, or yes, I'd like to cry a little bit. So I agree. You're right. They did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think my favorite aspect out of especially the second DLC, the first one, it was there, but the second DLC, they make you think, at least for me, they make me think the Marauders are the easiest enemies in the game. Which, when you play through that the first time and you meet a Marauder for the first time, you're like, well, these guys suck. These mobs are like the worst. And by the end of the second DLC, you're like, oh, thank God, it's just a Marauder.
Yeah.
I can like one round this guy. This is not going to be a big deal at all. Because then, like at this, the one that Ko's doing right now, I think the end of this is 2 of the tyrants and 2 of the like mech guys. Is the final
floating
spawn.
mech guys, the shields.
Yeah.
The ones with the empowered demons that have 2 stages of health and they fucking suck.
Yeah. Like,
oh my God, dude.
It was, this one, I think for me was the hardest, but I never at any point was like, fuck this game, I'm done. It was just like,
yeah,
I need to get that archdemon before he like spawns the mobs, and then I can just skip this entire phase and I'll feel better about it, blah, blah, blah. And so it was good. I think I spent like 45 minutes to an hour on this one. And it was definitely the hardest. Because you just have to learn how to play. You have to learn like, oh yeah, you can use rockets or the minigun.
Paper, rock, scissors, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, it's funny. It's funny because one of the people in my chat said it best. He was like, man, I quit this game after 30 minutes. I just want to shoot shit. I didn't realize I had to be like a strategic overlord in this damn game, knowing like everyone's weaknesses and what to do when and who to do what. It's like, I just want to shoot stuff. I can't do that anymore. This is my doom. And it was kind of like, I kind of see where he's coming from, because he's right. Like, some weapons are superior versus some enemies. And when you're fighting like 9 different types of enemies really quickly, like, you have to know what goes what and which alternate fire you need. And like, oh, I need to put this weapon on this weapon so it'll work properly. And I need to blast that off that guy. And it's just like, it's a lot now. It's a lot.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Yeah. But I said at the end of it, I think if this is the end for Doom, Doom Eternal, I should say, and it moves on to something else, like, I'm happy with this being the final thing. I think they nailed it. I think it was,
everything except for the music, which you really fucked it. Like this,
you didn't like the music in this? I thought it was fine.
No,
really?
I mean,
it wasn't
fine.
Mick Gordon, but it wasn't. It was fine.
I think that people, let me rephrase this.
Okay.
I think that there are some people that grossly underestimate how much of an impact Mick Gordon's music soundtrack and overall contribution to Doom makes Doom enjoyable for me. You do have good music. It is good-ish music, but not one track was standout to the point where I, felt like, hey, I should go listen to this on Spotify. Like, there is a distinguishable gap in the talent of music. It's not to say that it's bad. It's just you went from arguably one of the best composers to somebody that is not him. And so I feel very slighted about that. I'm super upset. And I hope that they apologize, because it's all Bethesda's fault, or not Bethesda. It's all
it was both parties
mastered.
a little bit.
Mick was being a douche, but also he deserves to be a douche. He's an artiste.
You're gonna go that route?
Okay. I don't know if you read it. It actually released like an official statement on what happened with all that stuff.
Did they really? I haven't read that. So.
Oh, they did. They did. And there's only so much they can do. There's only so much anyone can do when the artist that you have contracted to do your music repeatedly fails delivering the music by their deadlines.
Oh,
so
deadlines.
Like they
I did hear about this. Right.
It was like, he may be a fantastic artist, but sometimes art can't be rushed. And that's a little different when you have, investors breathing down your neck.
Right.
The whole reason, for instance, so there was that huge falling out, was because, to put it bluntly, like, they agreed on times and id said straight up, and Mick didn't meet them.
Yeah.
So like they tried. That's the whole reason the soundtrack didn't come out when the game did. So
and that's
was like
fine. I was not aware of that.
Yeah. But I don't think that was by choice. I definitely see, especially from you, Jericho, as somebody who I would say is more audio inclined than a lot of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you and your record label, you're really into this stuff. I definitely see where you're coming from. As a more general music guy myself, I thought the music was really good. It wasn't Mick Gordon, but I still felt like it was really good. Like
Yeah.
I felt like it was Doom music. And the people that did do it,
It
I
was
feel like
Doom
did a
music,
great
yeah.
job. But it wasn't Mick Gordon. it didn't have that that little bit of extra icing on the cake.
Right.
I would agree with that. But yeah, I was still pretty good.
Yeah.
I was headbanging a lot. I found myself doing this a lot, like especially when the action picked up. Like I would just realize I was like, oh yeah, there we go.
I would agree.
How would you like to be the guy though? That like, do you think that was in a consideration? Like, hey, everybody fucking loves Mick Gordon. I'm gonna do my best here, and I hope fucking people like it.
It's an impossible job, right? Like that's
Oh yeah, exactly.
a shit
Exactly.
position. Yeah.
Dude, I think Jericho said it best. He actually said, I don't like the music because it's not Mick Gordon.
Yeah.
It's like just because
Well,
it's not Mick. It doesn't matter like how good it is.
No, that was
Because it's his. It's his
deliberately I was deliberately making a blanket statement. Yes, there's nothing wrong with it at all, and I was just trying to be combative here. Like there's
Well, here's
nothing
the thing,
wrong
though.
with this, but I wish that it were up to the same standard as the original OST.
Sure.
The thing is, though, you're not wrong because a lot of people associate Doom with Mick Gordon. So even if they brought in somebody who made better music, a lot of people would be frustrated because it's not their Doom anymore. It's like a different, because Doom and the music go to hand in hand. So just
trying to
because
come up-
it's not Mick.
I was trying to come up with like an analogy or an example, and the one that I came up with was Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. Now, Jackie Earle Haley did not do a bad job. He was in some ways creepier and better,
This is a good analogy.
but he's not Englund.
Sure.
He's not Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger. Like you can't. It's hard to get that out of your fucking head when
There-
you're watching like a new
Right.
version.
Or like who's the true James Bond?
That's
for
what I was
another,
about to
like,
say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
That's a big
That-
discussion, though, right? Like,
Right.
there's a lot of opinions
But-
there.
Or
And-
Spider-Man,
James-
who's
James
the real
Bond, though-
Spider-Man?
James Bond
Or
is
Batman.
Like,
We were having a
it's
discussion about Batman's
traditionally
nipples
changing.
today. Yeah. But yeah,
Wait,
no, we were
nipples?
having a serious discussion about Batman's nipples today and the different people that played Batman and how some Batmans had the little nipple.
Clooney had
insert
the nipples.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Batman's nipples. So it's like some people, they have to have nipples with their Batman, and it
Yeah,
just
that
ruins
was,
the experience if they don't.
That was all Schumacher though, I think, right?
Oh, was-
Director.
who directed Batman and Robin? Because that was Clooney with Jim Carrey. Was that
Yeah,
Schumacher?
Joel
as
Schumacher
well?
did Forever and Batman and Robin, I think, didn't he? I think he did both of those.
Oh, then yeah, that's Schumacher. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because I remember watching interviews like with Joel Schumacher, like he was like, "Yes, I was the one who added nipples to the bat suit," and I was like, "Well, fuck you." Then. I don't know why I
boy.
cared so much.
Talk-
I just did.
Talk about stealing the spotlight in every scene. I mean, it's they're like magnets for the eyes.
It's true. It's true. You're not wrong. I was
Well,
reminded.
it's why a lot of like animators don't put nipples on like bare chested or cartoons or anime or whatever. Like they don't put nipples on there because they draw the eye.
It's true. Anyways, bringing it back to Doom, I was reminded here about the new enemies. There's no easy segue out of there, so I just have to do it. I was
Speaking of
reminded,
nips.
I was reminded of the cursed enemy. Whichever
Yeah.
dev decided that the cursed enemy should exist, I want them fired, but then promoted and rehired. Because, I have such a love-hate relationship with that enemy because it's such a simple thing of this mob's going to come up and it's going to hit you, and then you're going to lose all movement, and you have to find it and you have to kill it. And until you do, you can't do a single fucking thing. And so it becomes this giant thing you have to focus on, and just no matter what else is going on, focus on this little gangly looking fucker walking around in the map because he's that detrimental to the run. And that type of stuff I think just speaks to how smart id is when it comes to this arena style combat. Of that little thing is so small and not that big of a deal but it is the biggest deal when it happens. It's so good.
Interesting thing, by the way. I have a feeling they knew how insanely annoying that mob was
100%.
because of this map. Because get this, the third phase of this map every time has one of those green dudes spawn, and I think they're called a harbinger, the big summoner. These guys right here, that guy right there,
Arc demons.
the archdemon.
Yeah.
The archdemon has about 4 different spawns where it can spawn around the map, but the green guy always spawns in the exact same place, and it makes me wonder if people, because what I would do is every time, once I learned that, every time, the second I would kill that big green guy, I would run over to where I know that green guy spawns and immediately kill him so I didn't have to deal with him. And it makes me wonder if they kind of realize, like, yeah, some people are going to just want to, like, end this dude.
Get him out of here.
Like, he's really annoying. So for those people, let's go ahead and just keep him safe.
Right.
I completely glossed over the fact that this challenge was the one where I felt like they learned so much from people knowing the spawns in the first DLC that they made those spawns variable. And they also changed the timing of the spawns as well. Like there's certain factors that, like, if you killed X amount of mobs, it would push forward. And like that variance, I didn't realize it at the time, but that variance now looking back on it made this encounter. It was so much more fun.
That was really confusing when I realized that there wasn't a set, like, you kill this brain. I don't know the names of any of them, but you kill the brain turret. Yeah, you kill him, and then that will trigger the next wave of mobs. But, you know, after dying so many times, it's like, I can't figure out when the next big wave is going to come. Like, and it keeps you on your toes. So if they did that, which they certainly did on purpose, it would definitely added to the whole game.
Yeah. Well,
what they seem to have done is they've made it so, like, different mob types are spawn chains. So if you kill like a certain couple mobs, then because those mobs are dead, a third will spawn. But if you kill like it in a different order, then you may not even get that third spawn until you've finished off the other one. So it's like it adds this complete level of variance.
Yeah.
Where they don't feel the same every time. So it makes repeated deaths a lot more entertaining.
It was. I think this is maybe their best, like, arena encounter throughout all of Doom Eternal. I think because of that very reason, they've learned so much from all of the other aspects of the game that, like, they figured it out in a lot of ways on, like, how to make a challenging thing repeatable and be fun every single time, and not just like, gotta get to that fucking spawn faster. It's like, I gotta find that spawn. Oh God, the red things are coming up. Oh God, fuck, he's over there. Get over there faster. Like that type of shit. It was good.
I pretty much said that in my head, word for word, many times. Like, oh, there's a summon coming. Where is he?
Yeah.
Just like zipping around the map as fast as possible.
Yeah. Also, another thing they learned, those yellow shields. The first, like, my brain goes shield, switch to plasma, immediately get rid of it no matter where you're at. When I saw those yellow shields, it was like, fuck, I got to use a rocket and, like, hope that I get the shot right and, like, place it right behind them type deal. Like, again, it's them just watching and learning from their own game, and it's really awesome to see that type of stuff. I thought it was fantastic. Let's talk about the final boss. We should probably put up some sort of spoiler thing. I don't have a spoiler tag, so I'll just put my hand up. I'm not going to show footage of it, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just mute the stream when my hand goes down, or someone's hands. When all of our hands are down, then we will be done talking about it. I didn't like the boss. I got to the boss on the hardest difficulty. I tried it for 10 minutes. I one-sat this entire DLC, and I was like, you know what? I see what they're doing here. I'm going to put it on easy. I'm going to finish the game. I don't have the patience to, like... And at that point, I didn't know that the checkpoints were every two bubbles, I think.
Yeah.
Had I known that going in, I might have kept it at the same difficulty. But, like, the idea of regenning HP and all that shit was just like, nah, I'm good. And I just put on easy and finished the game. I had no issue with doing that. But I know that Ko liked it, and Jericho, you were a little bit indifferent on it from what I could tell.
Yeah, I want to hear Ko's counter, like your argument.
Yeah.
So I really liked the end boss. And the reason being is because, first of all, the health thing was a little bit bunk, especially how much he got back.
Right.
But I also really liked that you could by learning how he functioned and learning to avoid it, you could completely bypass it, which was awesome.
Right.
I came up with like
Right.
multiple different strategies during it to get around it. Ended up finishing on a nightmare after many attempts. The checkpoints really helped, by the way. Great call by the devs.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really liked about the end boss is if you think about it in the context of the game, it really makes sense because the lesser versions, the dudes that you fight all the time around the game, JP, you said their name earlier. The dog guys,
Marauders?
the green Marauders. Yes,
Yeah.
Marauders are
Marauders.
supposed to be like failed Doom guys, or like previous iterations and things of that nature. So it kind of makes sense that the end boss would be a souped up version of them because he was trying to like make things versions of himself.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fits together. And then he's in this big metal suit, which just kind of compiles to that. And by the end of it, man, like especially once I got my strategies down and I really kind of understood like how to wait for the green eyes and make sure to get away from everything, use the hammer properly. The fact that you could easily use the ads to refill your hammer, so you were always kind of on your toes. I actually ended up really liking it. Certainly a couple very frustrating attempts, no question, but I felt like that kind of played into it. I felt like it was a good culmination of everything else. And again, I think it would have been a little bit weirder if they made him like this completely unique encounter, because they did make it kind of clear that those other guys were kind of like lesser versions of what he was trying to do. So
Right.
I liked how they kind of just extrapolated that out to a boss level, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Go ahead,
I don't.
Draco.
I don't think that my issues came with the game mechanics. I too kind of roll my eyes when there's like a health regen mechanic or a vampirism stuff. I just don't like that much. But I agree with you. Like his attack order was like learnable, and then over time, my last couple bubbles, like I barely got hit, so it wasn't that bad. I also understand that he is, that Marauders are like this type of failed Doom guy. I think, however, that it was just a little lackluster after fighting like gigantic Colossus-sized demons and who had different type of like attack patterns and stuff, and felt more overwhelming to me in size and scale than the final fight with a god, like the one. So I just wish that they had somehow made it feel more grandiose than it was, but I don't think that like I had any issue with the way the fight went. I just was like, I expected a little more. That's it. It was fine. It was fine for me.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. Yep.
Yeah.
For me,
Also, I will say they did basically just make him a giant HP sponge.
yes,
It was a little bit interesting.
No,
Like, I
that's
thought between the checkpoints
exactly.
we were going to be seeing like big variations.
Totally.
And granted, he summoned some more enemies towards the end. It wasn't quite as much as I was thinking. When I first saw that big mechanical suit, I thought that thing was going to be like transforming throughout the fight and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
really
I did
realize.
too.
And then when the fight ended, I was just kind of like, is he really dead? Is he going to jump out and I'm going to have to fight him like on his own? And no, actually, he's kind of dead.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a little weird.
I think
Yeah.
my biggest thing with it is when I think of like Doom Eternal, I think of these arena encounters. I think of like aiming being a factor to propelling you towards finishing it. And that final boss, like aiming is one of the least important aspects of it. It's more movement. And like dodging and the tracking on the shield was a little bit annoying to me. And anytime that would get hit, I'd be like, well, there's his entire fucking HP bar back. So like, I guess I just have to sit here and wait for him to flash green again. But with all that said, the thing that was constantly in the back of my mind is I don't know of a FPS boss that isn't a giant bullet sponge, right? Like I don't know a game that's actually had a boss where I was like, that was a fucking 10 out of 10 boss that wasn't a giant HP sponge.
Right.
And so
I can agree
with that, I was kind of like, well, it was fine. That's why I didn't like, there's no reverence for me to like, I have to beat this on Nightmare. It's like, oh, I'll just see the credits on easy. I got what I wanted out of the arenas and I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's a good boss in an FPS ultimately.
I don't either. And I just, because I'm going to forget it. I just realized that one of the other reasons why I didn't like it as much was the arena sucked. I didn't like the arena. It was just like a 2D.
Yeah, it's just a circle.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus
an
like,
MMA
look
fight.
at what you're, yeah, it's like an MMA fight, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
but look at the arena you're fighting in. It's just more brain stimulation and stuff like that. But
Yeah. So I don't know. Cause it also felt like compared to the actual Doom Eternal, the main game final boss in this, they were also like two different things. Like that boss was an arena boss, but it still was a bullet sponge boss in an arena.
Right.
This one was like a movement based boss that was kind of in an open area, but it was still a bullet sponge thing. So I don't know. I don't know what I want from that. Ultimately, I just know that I didn't necessarily find it all that fun, and I didn't care to like grind it out, so to speak, when it comes to this. But apart from that, all the arenas and the rest of the game make up for it. I have no problem recommending this DLC, and yeah, I think it's a great send off if this is truly the end of like Doom Eternal. I hope not.
I agree.
I would love more DLCs, but
It's the end of Doom Guy. That's they've been careful to say it's not the end of Doom. It's the end of Doom Guy. So the thing that people are starting to kind of muse about is that they're going to continue it in some way with a customizable NPC.
can I put my hands down?
Oh yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, real quick. Any more boss stuff for anyone? Okay, we're good.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I think some of the musings are that there may be some kind of customization involved. So you can actually make your own person, and that would be male or
girl.
female or however you want. Exactly, Doom Gal. You know, you could do whatever you wanted to do with it, and maybe design your face and things of that. They may come up with all new lore into how you ascend to whatever that is. They could do all sorts of stuff with it. I mean, the lore is so loose in this game at this point that they really could just do whatever they wanted
Part of me
and make anything work.
part of me like
Doom Dad?
doesn't
There we
want
go.
to play a Doom game unless I'm Doom Guy. Like I don't- like
It's like Master Chief
Traditionalist.
level of
it's
you
like
know, you
Master
just-
Chief. Yeah.
Mhm.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I get it.
I mean,
Hey,
like,
Reach work.
Is it even Doom anymore without Mick and Doom Guy? Like, is it going to be even Doom?
I
Why don't they just call it Mood?
I think I'm that guy. I think I might be that guy, Zeke. You might be onto
You
something.
know what'd be
there.
hilarious? They make that game, and then they have like customized character, or below it, or Doom Guy. And it's like you just scroll down, and you get like a customized exact replica of Doom Guy. And
Yeah.
it's just like you're good to go.
Yeah. I was thinking about after this was all done, and like, what do I want to see id do next? And I was thinking in lines of the Microsoft acquisition, like, give me a Halo game made by id. I don't think it would ever happen, but like, I might kind of be into that. Like Master Chief made by id
could be in
software.
there.
Like, okay, that doesn't really go anything Halo, but I'd love to see what that looks like.
Take the Call of Duty approach and just have a bunch of game devs making games on your IP.
Yeah, so
Like-
someone in chat says it's Master Chief on cocaine, and I couldn't think of a better description to what that would
I'd
be.
want them if they were to do that. I'd want them to reach it, where they have
Sure.
it'd be like in the Halo universe,
Oh.
but not like keep it a little bit away from like that main backbone.
True.
And then maybe they could do something really fun with it that way. But I think it'd be a little strange if it was like in order. You know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you get like an id Halo. It would be such a different experience.
It would be.
I mean, yeah,
It would
yeah.
really be.
And that's from the little Halo I've played. So
It would.
still got to play that sometime.
Yeah, it would be a lot different.
Now, okay, I'm not super familiar with the backstory of Doom Guy.
Yeah.
Does he have a backstory? Like, is there like a
Yeah,
Yeah, this game
There-
in Doom
there is-
2016 introduced it. Yeah,
Okay,
there
okay.
is lore.
Um,
And this DLC particularly really extrapolates on like who he is, where he came from, and his purpose and everything.
what if they go the BioShock route and do like you play as the Big Daddy in one of them, play as a
Oh
demon?
yeah, that's two. That'd be cool.
well, they did that in Halo 2, where you play as an elite. Spoilers, but
Well, Zeke brings up a great point though. Like, what if you played whatever comes after the end of this DLC in hell? Because I mean, they just basically like think about the ending of that. Like something
true.
has to happen in hell after that. Like it could be a huge power struggle. Like imagine like customizing your demon and you have to like take over hell and you can pick like your archetype and powers and
This
absorb.
sounds-
Oh,
more
dude, they
throughout
could
the
use
game.
like the Nemesis system. Oh wait, Maybe they-
Oh no! You can't even say that.
you
They're-
can't.
don't-
That's too much money. Yeah. No, that might be where they go. I don't know. What was the other? It made Rage 2. Was that the other id game that came out recently?
Didn't they make?
Yeah, I was not a fan of Rage 2, so I don't know what I would want them to do or to go. Obviously, new IPs are always fun, but I don't know. It makes really good arena shooters, so maybe just more of that. Maybe just focus on that. But maybe they're tired of making them at this point, right? They made Doom 2016 and then this. And when did Eternal come out? Was that 2020? Was that last year? Full release?
2019, I believe. Don't quote
2019
me.
or 2020?
Either late 2018 or early 2019, I think. I think it was like February.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
March 20th,
March,
2020.
April. Yeah.
oh.
So it hasn't
Wow.
even been that. We've already
Been a
had
year.
2
Hasn't even
DLCs in a year.
It's literally been 4 days over a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm with you though, Jericho. I thought it was longer. I would have.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2019.
But you know,
too.
it's quarantine time. Everything
Quarantine time.
blends together. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Obviously, a new Quake game. I would love that as a Quake stand for sure. Like, give me a new Quake game. Give me a new Quake game with actually good multiplayer, and I'll be there. But I feel
Didn't
like
they have like a new Quake Arena or something?
we don't talk about that.
Quake Champion?
We
Oh,
don't talk
all
about
right,
Quake
all right.
Champions. Yeah, it was not. It wasn't it. that didn't exist.
Quaker Watch?
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds like some weird religious thing. Never mind.
It does. Yeah. Quake Champions was like Overwatch, and yeah. Anyways, that's Doom. Doom Eternal DLC 2. It's good. If you have any doubts of playing it, don't. And difficulty wise, it's easier than the first one, so you can go in with that knowledge. It's still pretty
Hexen
hard.
2020?
Hexen wouldn't be. I'd be interested. Wait, it didn't make Hexen? Hexen was something else, I thought.
Really?
Hold on. Was
Hexen was Raven. Hexen was Raven and published by id. So developed by Raven Software and published by id Software.
Yeah.
Raven Software.
Raven Software is COD now, right, Jericho?
Yes.
They're
Wow.
one of the big 3 COD people.
They do they help with the multiplayer and battle royale mode. So they run Warzone, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. I know we're due for a break. There was one last bit of news, not necessarily game related, but it is kind of game adjacent. The Blizzard execs that finally have gotten out of their non-competes are starting to make, they had already started making waves, forming different companies and whatnot, but now they're kind of starting to do their thing. One of them is making an RTS that I think they got around 10 million for funding in. And another one, Chris Metzen, who is kind of, he's the, for the Horde, for the Alliance guy that you always used to see at BlizzCon. He is making a new setting for D&D, which is launching a Kickstarter, I think, later in April, which is from his own D&D campaign from the 1980s till now. He's basically putting that into a fully licensed D&D campaign, which is interesting. So I'm more excited for that than anything Blizzard has announced. It's their old execs actually doing shit and getting out there and finally able to work again after however long their non-competes were. So cool to see that type of stuff. I'll definitely have my my eyes on that, and we'll see where we go from there. I think we're good for a break. Any other things you guys want to news bits, last bits?
Rocket League just announced an iOS and Android game.
Is it just Rocket League?
It says Rocket League Sideswipe. Yeah.
Oh, Sideswipe. So it's not.
They have alpha gameplay and everything on their website or on RocketLeague.com. It got announced an hour ago.
Does it just look like Rocket League?
I have not looked at it.
Let me see. I'm curious. You can't really pull off Rocket League on a phone, right? Like that.
No, you definitely can't. Like I'm thinking about playing on controller. Like you just need constant input and A and B button, right? I guess hypothetically.
This is it right here.
This is it. Okay.
We'll see if it handles. Oh, it's 2D. Or it's a flat plane. It's like a fighting game plane.
Oh,
that's a smart way to handle that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, I could get behind this.
It's a great way to get people involved in actual Rocket League, right? Like mobile is arguably the biggest market in the world when it comes to video games. So
yeah,
that could be cool.
I don't think it's even arguably.
Dude, I don't think it's arguably. I think it is. Yeah, you're 100% right there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
God damn Monster Cat and your licensing agreements with Psyonix. I want some of that.
I want some of that.
I was wondering where you're going with that. I was like, is this a night mode thing? What's happening here?
Want a piece of that.
Yeah. Let me just do an old refresh here real quick, see if there's anything else. I think that was kind of the last bit. Oh, the other thing, I guess Xbox Live is being renamed to Xbox Network.
Mhm.
Kind of sad
Cool.
to see that go after however long it's been. But like, okay, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Someone's got the door.
What was?
needs to go
Yeah,
answer.
somebody just. No,
I don't know.
Wasn't on
nobody
my
else
end.
heard that.
No, I heard that.
Was it?
There's a knocking.
Yeah, somebody
I
was
think-
knocking.
Co, I think you got to go answer your door, wherever that is.
This is why I don't wear headphones.
Go figure out what that noise is. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk about
Okay.
all the games that we've been playing. And we'll have more drop frames, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. After this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in about 5. Good luck, Co, with that noise.
Thanks.
We'll see you soon. Thanks everyone so much for coming out to Drop Frames this week. We were talking all that talk about Nier. I guess we're just going to play Nier songs for the break. See where we go from there. We'll have second half here in just a bit. 6-minute break for now. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Every one of us, but the truth is that I'm come to life. After all the laughter fades, signs of life are washed away. I can still feel a gentle breeze. No matter how hard I pray, signs of morning still remain, and life has become my enemy. Tell me, God, are you punishing me? Is this the price I'm paying for my past mistakes? This is my redemption song. I need you more than ever right now. Can you hear me now? 'Cause we're gonna shout it loud, even if our words seem meaningless. It's like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I wish I could wait somehow, that I could save every one of us. But the truth is that I'm only one girl. Maybe if I keep believing, my dreams will come to life. Come to life. Cause we're gonna shout it loud, even if our words seem meaningless. Like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I wish that some way, somehow, that I could save every one of us. But the truth is that I'm only one girl. Still, we're gonna shout it loud, even if our words seem meaningless. It's like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I hope that some way, somehow, that I could save every one of us. But the truth is that I'm only one girl. Maybe if I keep believing, my dreams will come to life. Come to life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Going to the second half here of Drop Frames. You guys want to talk about Fall Guys for a bit? The new Fall Guys, the
Sure.
season 4 Fall Guys. Jericho, have you jumped in at all?
I haven't played since the big hype wave, so I don't know what new content there is. I don't know if it's worth jumping back into.
I think I would say it's worth. The three of us played Monday, I guess, when that launched, season 4. I think Co's played a couple other times. I think Zeke was playing. Yes, Zeke, were you playing alone yesterday? Is that what this, or is that from Monday? I don't know what VOD I'm looking at here. It might have been from Monday when this VOD was created. But Zeke's played.
No,
is the short of it.
Yeah, the last and only time I played in the last few months is with you guys.
Gotcha. Season 4 came out. They put in 7-ish new maps. I think there might be 8 off the top of my head. And also squad mode put in, which They didn't say as much, but I think Co and Zeke would probably agree with. They took the rivals scoring and put that into the game. It is Twitch rivals squad mode
In a good way.
in a good way. Yes,
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, the new levels. We were talking about them while we were playing. To echo what I said in that stream, it is the Fall Guys learned how to make levels better over the
Finally.
past 3 seasons, and this level in particular, I think, is a great way to show that off. So we're gonna have Zeke here go ahead and run through the level perfectly and flawlessly without any issues to show everything off here on first go. No, it's good. Fall Guys kind of had a weird story to it. I feel with a giant boom, and then Among Us came out and just kind of like took everything from it and like sucked the air out of the room in a lot of ways. I feel like this is a return to form in a sense, and return to a better form in a lot of ways. Like the levels are 10 times better than the first season. They are so much more fun. There's so many like small things that you can do to kind of get slightly ahead of someone else. They're much more mechanical as well, where there's like, it's not just get on top of the seesaw.
Too.
Yeah. It's like
exactly.
like this one right here. This is great. The goal here in this one is to get to the circle right there that is spinning, and you can only enter from that side, and you have to jump on the buttons to open up the right path.
But of course, everyone else is also stepping on the buttons, so it becomes this cluster of like, do you wait, do you go? Like it's pretty wild.
You sold me. I'm playing Fall Guys today.
It's great. And then this right here, they put in
This
low
is
grav.
the second time I've seen this.
Yeah, low grav and super grav here. Wait, what do you mean the second time you've seen this?
I didn't go for the flippers.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. The flippers are the big bait. They work 90% of the 40% of the time. Maybe. Yeah, but it's like, if this is where Fall Guys is going to go, then great. I will continue playing Fall Guys for many seasons to come. It was so much fun. It was the right amount of frustration of like, raging at this game while also smiling, which is kind of like that, that quintessential.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's that quintessential Fall Guys feeling. And I had not played this since, I think all 3 of us had not played this since the Twitch Rivals that happened many months ago. And so it was fun to go back to it and not have the giant amount of stress associated with that Rivals tournament, as well of like, if you get eliminated here, you're going to probably lose and get kicked out of the tournament. So you need to perform somewhat well here. Instead, it was just like, you can jump off and it's fine.
Nice.
That was until, of course, we started playing squad mode. And it was pretty much like, you got to perform or you're going to.
Well, it's the thing that is that really, really makes squad mode so much fun is that, first of all, you're playing on a squad. If one person on your team does very, very poorly, the whole squad's eliminated. Like they eliminate squads at a time, not just one one person. Yeah. So there's less like fuck around beans, like people who are just like, standing at the finish line trying to grab you and like all that kind of stuff and make you lose and that kind of stuff. Like you want to do well, because if you don't, your team doesn't succeed either. So that's really cool. But also like it creates that like team dynamic tension. It's like you're sucking hind titty here. You need to step your game up. We want to get past round 2 here. And so you got to be better at these preliminary games.
Oh my God, I remember when that happened and we had no idea.
That blueberry
Fucked you.
the board there.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's another thing I love that they added is there are random like playing field like levelers. I mean, I'm sure like the top tier players obviously can like know how to avoid and shit like that, but like if you're average to above average or whatever, you can just get knocked off the board just cuz.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, not only that, so first of all,
That is
the cool
such
stuff about this,
It's Sanic.
There are
It's great.
7 new maps that they just put in. So, and each of them, just like JP said earlier, there's a lot of creativity in them. They're not like when Fall Guys just came out, they basically would take like one premise or obstacle and they would just repeat it a bunch until the end. And that was basically most of the maps. So it's like run from A to B and then you're done. Now they have like a bunch of different team games. They've got a basketball thing, a thing where you carry a battery around and change the ground. They've got an actual race now where you actually have to complete laps.
The race
through a
is
different
really
thing.
good.
Yeah, and I also love the one where it's like you have to. There's a hoverboard and you have to jump over obstacles while the board keeps moving. So there's all sorts of cool new ones that they
So
have there.
amped.
Yeah.
And on
What
top
about
of
cheap-
that,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say last thing. On top of that, they also now have variants of all the original levels. So you can play like a level that you've already played before, but like the last entire section will be different, or there'll be cannon firing shit at you that wasn't there before, or like all this random stuff can pop up now. So it keeps it a lot more fresh.
Yeah.
Nice.
This map right here, by the way, in squads, Jericho, like I'm sure you've experienced where in this map you just sit around for a minute and you don't do anything. You just you
Right.
don't. There's
Yeah.
no
No.
need.
We didn't play. Just don't play until the last 30 seconds. But I
Yeah.
see there's like a kill feed now, and there's like there's more to it.
This one now in squad mode at least is your entire team is your 4 friends, like you and 3 friends. So it's
I need
a nightmare.
friends.
It's a stressful and like I think we had quadruple overtime on that map
Yeah.
against 3 other teams. And
Wow,
First time
really?
we played it, yeah, it was crazy.
It was the best experience we ever had on that tail map, and it was also the type of thing where I was just
Heart
screaming
palpitation.
at the top of my lungs, like, get a fucking tail. We're gonna go into overtime again. Wait, we're good. Just survive. You got 5 seconds.
Also, all of the maps like that have those long time limits, they've significantly reduced the time.
Yes.
So like the game starts with like a minute and 15 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
So right when
gotcha.
you start, like you gotta start doing shit or you're you're gonna get caught out.
Yeah.
All right.
This
Good on
map-
them.
This map's also when it's just 4 people. This map sucks. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Anyways,
Well,
we've been trying to
the
jump
first time facing it, you know, with randos, you're kind of like, okay, it's forgivable to not quite know like what the other players are doing or the strategy you guys want to do, but like when you coordinate it, like we were thinking like ahead of the game, we were way too far like going, okay, you're gonna run interference, and they left us like, no, we got to push the ball first, like first things first,
Yeah.
gotta push the ball.
Well, and these little sliding pins,
Yeah, that's new.
just like the Doom Eternal devs, the Fall Guy devs know exactly how to piss people off in the best ways possible. Because these little pins just screwed us so bad. They screwed Yellow Team right here as well. See how it blocks it completely?
Oh, I love
and then
it,
we were able
though.
to get a little bit more time, even though we ended up losing.
Oh, meanwhile, these 2 jokers are down here trying to push this ball back. The rest of their team is up there with me. They're just like pushing it against the purple thing.
Yeah.
So they're just like bouncing it around like a ping pong ball back there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was terrible.
It's good.
I'm getting rage, and it's like days ago.
Yeah.
I'm reliving the moment.
Exactly.
Did you guys encounter any cheaters? Because that was a big problem that they had
No.
when the game launched.
I don't think we
People
did.
flying around. And
I
stuff.
have yet to run into a hacker, and I've played a couple hours after these guys, and we played for 3 hours, 4 hours. We played for a while.
Yeah.
Drank
There
7
was
beers
one-
during that.
One time on Fruit Shoot where all of us were kind of like, it wasn't like
No,
blatant.
to hit the hammer.
It wasn't obvious.
Remember?
No.
No, we
It was when it was just one
Started-
guy.
trying to, one guy left trying to do the hammer, but didn't get it, like didn't complete the hammer like quick strap, but completed like the was running on the conveyor belts that were going backwards. Seemed like he made it up there super quick, but it wasn't like, we all noticed it, but it wasn't blatant. So, but as far as like blatant cheaters like you would see before, we didn't see any.
Yeah. I don't think that they
Oh.
are having that issue, partially because the player count is just kind of, it seems a lot lower than it was at its peak back in the day. But
Right.
they might have also introduced a lot of different, anti-cheat stuff. I think this might be the best level, by the way, that they've put in. This is the race level that Co was talking about.
I gotcha.
It's very evocative of speedrunners, the game
Nice.
speedrunners, which if you've played that, it is that level in a lot of ways. But there's so much variance here with the buttons. Like this is low grav, right? So you can't
High grav.
jump. Well, no, this is the low grav, and then the blue's the high. Is it? This is high
Higher
grav.
gravity
Right,
means
yes,
you're
you're
held
right.
down more.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. This is the high grav now. The blue is the low grav. But if you hit that button back behind, it'll swap them. And so you can kind of like fuck people over in that way.
Oh.
But if you come back through a second time, you'll fuck yourself over in that way. And so there's a lot of just like little tricks and secrets and different things different jump pads that will fling you forward and fling you backwards. And that type of stuff is great. This is probably the best level that they've put in.
I thought I was doing all right on this too. Like my first time there was like, oh, I did pretty good. I did all right. No, I did not. I was like a third of the way through the second lap and I got disqualified. I was like, whoa, okay, damn, shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't doing nearly as well as I thought.
You can go real fast if you know all the little like skips, which
Yeah.
is kind of like Fall Guys in general, right? Once you play the level enough, you start to learn all the little intricate ins and outs of it. We didn't get to play the level that has you going up the zigzags. Is that Slime Climb? Did you play that?
Yeah.
One time.
That was an original one.
Yeah. Did you play that when you played solo, Co? Was that in there with any variables? I wonder if
I
that's
haven't
even
seen that one.
Huh. I wonder if they've changed that at all.
I also haven't played that memory one in a long time.
Oh, I forgot
Thank
about the
God.
memory game. That was the most boring one, I think, out of
I
all the
agree.
levels.
Well, I played the memory game. I think it was the time before that, and it was the memory game, except with rows of guns on each side, firing shit the whole time.
That's
that
cool.
was pretty great, actually. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
So, like,
That's cool.
especially when it would go down to like there'd be a whole bunch of people on one thing, and then the cannons would fire, and everyone would be like moving around the pad, and like 10 people get. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah. This
Those
is
little
another-
variants can completely change the feel of the maps.
Totally. This is another team game. You have to have. This is the battery one where you have to have the battery in order to light up the square. Then it's all calculated at the end of the day. So, yeah, season 4, it's good. If you own Fall Guys and you're one to jump back in for just a couple of rounds, it's the ultimate like pick up and play for 5 minutes type game, and then put it away. And the levels are
Nice.
very good. We were playing PC and we were having some difficulty getting 60 people in, but we weren't having difficulty getting 40 people in to start squad mode. So I don't know if that was just like, it was day one, it was in the middle of the day, people were still working / at home at
Right.
school, who knows?
Also, that mode only accepts full squads.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I would.
Oh, so you can't solo, you can't fill?
No, it does
You have to have
autofill.
friends?
It does,
it does
autofill. Yeah. But it's also the
Oh.
type of thing of like, it'll autofill with a group of randoms. And a lot of
Right.
times, the one time that I tried that solo, after one game, 2 people left. So they're going to run into an issue with that where they're going to have to put some sort of penalty, right?
Lever
'Cause-
penalty, yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Also, the games are short. I don't understand. Like, if you're not like in first, I don't know how the scoring works, right? But like, it just seems to me like it's so short, anyways. Even if you make it to the end, we're talking 8 minutes of gameplay, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild that anybody's going to be like, all right, well, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, if you go play a BR game, right? Any online multiplayer game, people would just leave inherently.
Going through the ringer right there.
Yeah, that was
No, I
Anthony.
was watching Anthony and he was like doing so well, and then he started getting hit over and over. I was like, let's switch spectating to somebody else.
Yeah. So that's Fall Guys. I don't know if Co or Zeke have anything else to add to it, but season 4 is very good. It seems like their biggest update yet, and definitely potentially their best one. If they continue on.
Oh,
with it.
without a doubt, their best one. I played a charity thing not too long ago. It wasn't this. It was the patch or release before this content release. And man, it is so upgraded. Like this is so much more like. And the music. Did you guys mention the music? Like,
Oh, that's right. They
Oh,
redid
the-
it.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
they remixed like the a lot of the main Fall Guys tracks with like this futuristic retro wave kind of like feel to it with like drum machines and like synthesizer stuff. It's really really good. They went a really cool direction with it to
It
match
seems
like
cyberpunk.
the aesthetic of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right down my lane. So, I mean, I was already a big fan of the music for a variety of reasons. So good to hear.
Yep. It's good. This is Zeke's first time on the level, by the way, because he's fucking himself.
Also, after the charity tournament, I tweeted at the official Fall Guys account. I was like, because they mentioned they tweeted something out and they put my name, and I kept getting mentions over and over again, and it was just people going dead game, dead game, dead game, and I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with that? And the Fall Guys account said they just tweeted out like a screenshot of like mute phrases, and it's like, oh, I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure, because
Yeah.
it was like a meteoric rise, and then it just like stalled out, which is, you know, it happens sometimes. But I think these new game modes and like this shit, the squad shit, like it could definitely revive it. It's that fun. It really is.
I think
just watching it, I want to play it some more now.
It's definitely like the new and improved way to play Fall Guys.
Well, it's going to get me to play, so.
Yeah, they just got to figure out how to recapture that without specifically having someone on a show and saying like, "Hey, you should play this game, Tucker." Right. So we'll see how that goes. I think Zeke, that effect happens more often than not now with games because of things like Steam Spy and people like. For some reason, people like championing their games, or it's the inverse. They like hating on things. And so when they have information to back that up and be like, hey, we only have 200 people playing blah, 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 right? Like that's ammunition for their hatred in a lot of ways.
People like the dead whatever meme a little too much, and I think a lot of people use it as like tongue in cheek. Like they don't actually mean the game's dead. They just mean that they think that it's not popular enough for them to get, like, it's not the hot shit that they thought it was.
Right.
But like people coming to my Counter-Strike stream, like dead game. I'm like literally the most active the game has ever been, like in the entire history, like the opposite of what you're saying. But you know, it's funny to say. So.
Yeah. Alternatively, when I was playing Marvel, people came in and said dead game, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
At least on PC, it's not doing so hot. We'll get to that soon.
Well, do you think it's a matter of like, this was technically an indie game, started like that, and then it blew up, so everybody was like rooting for the underdog, and it felt good, and then it, you know, blew the fuck up, millions and millions of copies sold, and then like they're not the underdog anymore. Now we have to root against them.
Potentially, I Among Us also just like not stole everything, but took over the limelight, right? Like Among Us was Fall Guys on crack. Like it was
free,
giant. Yeah, and it also had.
I haven't heard shit about it in recent weeks and months.
It is definitely still
like the big.
It's still
Among
big.
Us is still big, and they just announced the new map coming out at the end of the month. So like, and Hafu does like lobbies in the mornings with like Toast and you know, tens of thousands of viewers. So definitely still there, but casually, it's gonna come back bigger this next week because they're new content, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a weird thing. Hey Zeke, I didn't realize I stumbled upon the fact that you were like 30 hours into Persona 3 Fez the other day.
Yeah.
How's that playthrough going? What do you think? As someone who's experienced, I guess, Persona 5 and Persona 4 now, you're getting to like the introductory games in a lot of ways. How is Persona 3?
Apparently this is the first time that Persona, this is the first actual like Persona feeling game, is according to a lot of sources.
Yeah.
Like this is the social links, the you know, fusions, the Persona fusions and all that kind of stuff. Like this is the first time that it actually like congealed, and it is what you see today. And it's good. It's I would say just as good as it by and large just as good as P4. P5 still by far the standout. It just like it had style to spare. The music is still my favorite. The UI, all that stuff, but it's newer, and you know it's easier to say that with the newer you know, quality of life shit. Because in order to play this and enjoy it, I had to add a couple of things. I am emulating it. I do have a copy of the
original,
of the actual game. In case you guys were wondering, yes, I do have a copy of the actual game. But it allowed me to do party control mod, which is not something that was in the original PS2 game, which means you know how in Persona games they start with you with your party just doing whatever they want and you get to choose what you do.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
switch you can toggle off, but it's like by default they do whatever they're told to do, or not told to do, whatever they want to do AI wise. This one has no toggle in the PS2 version. So in the emulator, you can add a party control mod, which means you can tell them to heal or whatever, and not like charm. Apparently, Marin Karen, the charm spell is like a huge meme in this game, like because that's what one of the characters would do constantly and never heal when you needed it, or blah 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 blah.
Sounds right.
But so I was told that was probably a necessity for the enjoyment, the quality of life thing. So I did that, but also it's neat because I can also it speeds up. I can do double speed on when I'm grinding, when I need to grind.
That's
to
really nice.
Get levels or whatever like that, because it's just a button push on with the emulator going. The dungeon design is, it's good, but the Persona games have a tendency to have something cool, but play it the fuck out. A song, an area, I cannot fucking stand the goddamn Blue Room song anymore at all. At all. I cannot do it. It's 3 games of the same song. I can't fucking do it anymore. Not a bad song. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad song. It's just, if you heard your favorite fucking song for 300 hours, it's not going to be your favorite fucking song anymore.
I don't know, man. Pokemon battle theme still goes, I've heard that.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not constant. You're right.
Pokemon battle song is like meant to be repetitive. The Blue song is just, just nonstop.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just
like
operatic singing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they really and the thing is, they up the intensity of it after about 5 minutes. Like, you're listening to it for the 4 or 5 minutes, and then it's like, okay, it's background noise. And then they're like, no, you're going to listen to this. And you're like, Jesus, turn it down. Like, every time it gets to that point, I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that gets annoying. Like, the level design, it doesn't change. Like, the Persona 5 was like, that's another reason why Persona 5 is superior, because every dungeon is completely different, themes and colors and all that shit.
Yep.
But this one has, it's pretty much the same in the dungeons and whatnot. However, the outside of like battle and music and stuff, like the social interaction shit, it's pretty much the same. It's like high school drama stuff. It's relationship stuff. There's some heavy stuff like thrown in there. I thought it was going to be a bit like, I'm not that far in, I don't think. I thought it was going to be a bit darker than it was, because everyone remembers the the way to summon personas is you take your fake gun and you shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah.
And all of them do it differently. And my favorite is oh god, I'm gonna blank on her name again.
Mitsuru?
She's the first healer you get. And she turns the gun around and looks at it like, what is this? Like, every time she summons her persona, it's like, oh, and blasts herself in the face. And that's the first thing, like, people who've never seen this, like, that's the first thing they say, like, why do they do this? I've had to explain it many, many times, that it's metaphorical, like it is in every other Persona game. P4, P5. It's a metaphorical thing in a fake fantasy land that called the Dark Hour that everybody lives in and sleeps in and goes to, and yada yada yada. And the guns in the real world are like replicas. They're not even real. They don't even fire.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Oh, but I thought it was going to have darker subject matter because of that particular thing that was mentioned to me, I think by you, JP, like right off the bat.
You're early on. The game definitely is dark.
Okay.
It's got some fucked up shit in it for sure.
Okay.
You're early on.
Cool.
Yeah.
30 hours in and he's early on.
Well, early on in the grand scheme of the story, I guess is what I will say. Like you're still in the character introduction phase.
Yeah,
In a
kinda,
lot
yeah.
of ways. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've chat helped me. My chat helped me if you remember. Like, I think I'm 3 bosses in. I think I've done 3, like actual bosses.
The speed up thing though should cut into game time a lot in terms of speeding it up. I mean, it's literally 2x faster, right, for all the fights.
Well,
So
look at this. This is
yeah,
it.
no, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
that looks pretty cool, actually.
The Final Fantasy started doing this with all of their like re-releases and remakes, and I wish Persona would do that as well, because it just there's a certain point in the games where you know what you do and you just are on autopilot. And if you can introduce 2x into it, it would definitely help in that regard.
Yeah, and I mean, I have been doing a bit of the grinding or the quest stuff, like the Velvet Room. Elizabeth from the Velvet Room gives you like these little things to do, like find a gold medallion or do this or do that within the dungeon. Like fight this enemy, it'll give you this item or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been doing that like side shit offline, like or off stream. I mean, and it's definitely made it a little bit more palatable for me. Like I don't feel boring while I'm playing, because that's the part that gets repetitive and tedious to me is the fact that sometimes you have to grind. And I don't like streaming it because I just like I feel like a zombie while I'm doing it. So I've tried to keep the action stuff, the new content on stream and stuff. But I'm ready for it to ramp up, because I think like if I'm gonna give it another stream or two to see if like it keeps going and it finally like kicks over into like what this is actually fucking about, rather than, you know, just bullshit. Like the age is starting to show a little bit, I guess. But
I get what you're saying.
I'm ready for it. Also, I might have to put it on the back burner anyway, because in 6 days, Disco Elysium comes out, and I just said I'd play that day one.
Yeah.
So
That might happen. Be a good break.
yeah, I might have to put it on the like the back burner, or make it like a day, like it's Persona Saturday or whatever.
Yeah. I was curious, so I Googled, because I remember when this game came out, or maybe a little bit after it came out, it hit national news, at least here in America, because of the way that you summon personas. Like there's a cutscene at the opening of the game. I remember seeing it when I was like 15 or 16, of kid puts a gun to his head and like shoots himself. And it's a lot. Like it was a lot then. And I think even now with like where we're at in the US, it's a lot as well. So I Googled Persona 3 Fez trying to find those articles. Instead, I found headlines that are just like, these are a lot. From 2009, GameFAQs has kid shoots himself in the head because of Persona. VentureBeat.com has the magic of teen suicide in Persona 3. Destructoid wrote, Europe, don't shoot yourself in the head. Persona 3 is coming. Like, what the fuck are these headlines? Like, Jesus.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So maybe don't make a headline joking about shooting yourself in the head. I don't know. Maybe it was different times. Just a lot. I felt like sharing that. Definitely eye-grabbing headlines, regardless. But moving along. Yeah, that's Persona 3 in a nutshell. So, has anyone in your chat told you what the Fez aspect is yet? Like
Nope.
Okay. All right.
No, I know there's the at the beginning menu, there's the journey and the ending. No.
I think it might be that, like, grandiose. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. The answer, there it is. The journey and the answer.
Right.
And I know, like, people have said, like, that the answer tacks on, like, 20 more hours or something. It's, like, the new, the added content, like
It's the
royal
golden
content.
or the royal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, cool. I hope eventually you do finish it, regardless of how soon or potentially how far away that is. Because the ending, the The added stuff, like you said, the Royale stuff is good. It's definitely one of the best parts of the
Well,
game.
the thing that I tend to do in a lot of Persona games is I as the Persona, one of the quality of life things that I was talking about before is, as the Persona games like P4, P5, they allowed you to do more stuff like in the days and nights and whatever. Like this one, like I maxed out my courage and charms. There's 3 personal stats: courage, charm, academics, right?
Yeah.
And I maxed out charm and courage like super fast. So at nighttime, if there's nobody to hang out with, I got nothing to fucking do now.
Right.
So it's just like, do I just skip it? Or do I, do I add like, because I mean, there's stuff to do, but it's like this minor, like, you can give your Persona 1 strength. Like, thanks. Great.
Just go hang out with the
Perfect.
ghost kid in your bedroom. You know, hey, he's great.
Yeah, I wish I could tell when that was gonna happen. I wish I could say that. Like, let's do that. There's a couple of like nighttime things, but yeah, anyway.
That stuff definitely got fleshed out P4 and finally in P5 they gave you surplus amount of things to do for sure. So well, cool. Like I said, I hope you do see that one through to the end eventually. Jericho, you kind of hop around from FPS to FPS. How goes? I've talked to you personally about the Valorant grind. How you still on it? Are you still jumping into that?
I committed myself to like at least giving it like a month of actually trying. And yesterday I played for about 4 hours, 3.5 hours, and it was pretty miserable. I have yet to have a day in Valorant where I get off like, yes, you know, I have it has its moments, but it's frustrating coming from a game like Counter-Strike or even Call of Duty or Rainbow Six. Like, I am consistently able to at least feel like I contribute. I can't do shit in this game. I don't know. It's just so hard for me to get into a rhythm, and I feel like I have no idea. So we're working on it. I don't know if I'll get out of gold though.
Yeah. That sounds. But that's the Valorant I've experienced as well.
Yeah, it is going to be, in my opinion, it is going to be the premier FPS esport in the next year and a half, like maybe even sooner. But like, so that's part of driving my like desire to at least get competent in it, because there are moments where I really enjoy it, and there's things that you can do in this game that are really flashy and exciting to watch. It's brutal for the other 98% of the time, trying to make content with it and streaming and being like happy.
Yeah. It is definitely one of Riot is very good at making soul crushing games that somehow still have you reloading and jumping back into it right after. They have captured the idea that this next hour of your life will be the worst hour of your life, but maybe the next hour after that is going to be really fun.
It's like, look how much fun the other team had beating the shit out of you. We could flip the script if you just load it up one more time.
Maybe if you didn't suck, you might have fun. If these other guys don't suck because they're doing great. Maybe.
Yeah.
Never know.
You're
right.
I
agree with you. Yeah, it's a brutal beast. I think it even is more so doubly for me because like I'll play and be like, all right, that was okay. And then I'll go watch, a Hiko or a Shroud or like someone actually good at video games. And it's just like, oh, that's how you play Valor. Okay. All
completely different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a completely different. It's like watching high school varsity games versus like the Olympics, right? They're just far and away better than you will ever be on any level whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's Valorant. That's competitive games in a nutshell, ultimately. Which, take them or leave them. What about Tarkov? I know you still are on that Tarkov grind. Are you like working towards the Kappa case, or are you just playing to play?
Slowly. It takes a lot. Like, people who play that game full time are, if you're not, like Dr. Lupo or Landmark, like people are now coming into their Kappa containers and stuff. I just enjoy playing this game because I really like the gunplay. It is so, I think we probably talked about it a couple times when I come on here. Like, it is one of the least forgiving games to try and get into because of how much stuff. Like it is 50% of the time being spent in this screen.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are a few games that give me the ability to interact with chat this well. I love playing solo. It's kind of like this. There's tense situations, but in general, it's like a fun experience from start to end. Every raid is generally different. It's one of those games where, like back when you guys were playing, when Ko was playing, when they were doing, the
Drops
I guess
and
like
stuff.
the drops. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna hate this. And I eventually just watched enough people that I was like, no, I should give it a shot. So I think it is my most played game on stream. Tarkov is. I just get into a nice. It's a really fun end of stream game. I'll play for like 4 hours something, and then I'll hop on for a couple hours of Tarkov and kind of like wind down, hang out. So
Yeah.
it fills a nice void for me. But I feel like it would. It's just so hard to recommend to anyone. It's
Oh yeah, it's impossible to recommend. You have to
yeah.
know. You have to sell someone on what the game is, and if they are that type of person, then they will enjoy it ultimately.
Yeah. So I don't blame anybody for looking at it and being like, nope, that's not for me.
Yeah. What is as someone who's only played Tarkov during a quote hype fest, like when drops are going on or something like that? Is the sweat fest just cranked up to 1,000 in like the quote off hours of Tarkov, or is it just the same?
It's sweaty the whole time.
Yeah,
Like Tarkov does not have the thing about Tarkov is there is no such thing as not sweaty. Like you will, if you try and do anything, like go get anything of value, you will 100% of the time run into somebody who is just, end game. And it's even worse now because in Tarkov, there's a Bitcoin farm you can get, and the developers tied the value of Bitcoin to real life Bitcoin prices. Meaning that during the gigantic ramp up of Bitcoin from $20,000 to $60,000, Bitcoin has completely ruined the economy of Tarkov, where you don't have to play the game and you can just log on and get several $1 million every time. So it completely removed like the hunter gathering aspect.
That sucks.
The best ammo is going for $4,000 a round. Right. So
Holy
I'm
shit.
sitting here with 4 million rubles. I could not even afford to do like one real Chad run. It would be all of my money. So it's just, and the devs are a little strong headed on this. So they didn't nerf Bitcoin. They just nerfed all of the ways that you could get a Bitcoin, which doesn't really affect anybody who's sitting here like
without
me.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
I always, friend of the show, Sips, plays Tarkov nonstop off
Sips.
stream. And
really?
He's got a Bitcoin farm. And he's always like, dude, I just got so much Bitcoin. I'm like, wait, like real Bitcoin? He goes, no, in Tarkov. And oh, okay. All right. Well, that's cool, Sips.
It takes away from a lot of the reason why I love this game, in that a lot of games you can perform well with like a mediocre setup. I mean, like if you're not as good as the other player in this game, at least on the wipe days when they reset everyone's account, everyone's so even on what they're using and the ways that you can get better gear that it really feels like you're on a rat race to just get usable gear. That part's really fun. This part, it's just me fighting against people who play this game way more than me and have an inherent huge advantage. It's still very thrilling if you do manage to kill them. You're like, I'm the best. Like, how did you lose this fight, you idiot?
Yeah. No, I can relate to that for sure. That the highs are high and the lows are low, right? Like that's the quintessential. That should be the back of the box quote of Escape from Tarkov.
Tarkov should be, it's mostly lows, but some highs will keep you coming back. Like,
that's the veteran. That they're not going to use on the back of the box, but yes, that's probably the more true version as well. So, I need to jump. Yeah,
that's Tarkov.
Jesus, 5 seconds just standing there looking at something.
Spend more time in the loading screen.
Yeah. I need to. Have they said it? They don't really ever say when a reset is happening, right? It's like the week of. It's like, by the way, reset.
Wipe, yeah. Most people are guessing like May, June, because they're gonna finalize their big map, the Streets of Tarkov, and they're gonna kind of bring it one step closer to like this. The idea behind Tarkov is having all of the maps interlinked, where you can move between one map to another map in the same raid. It's a really cool concept. At least that was the original one. So, yeah, it'll be this summer, and it goes on sale. So if you are interested in buying it, probably May would be a good time. Should be like half off.
All right, cool. I will most likely jump back in. Real quick, I know that this was at least the buzz yesterday, but then quickly people figured out what this game actually is. I played some Magic Legends, which,
Hmm.
oh God, first off, this is a bad game. Don't play this game. It's free. But
Oof.
I cannot recommend it unless you're a die-hard Magic fan. Then maybe I can recommend it.
This is linked to Magic the Gathering, then.
Yes, it is
Okay.
a Magic the Gathering world and story and characters from Magic the Gathering in a ARPG from, I'm not even sure. I think it's the devs from the Perfect World or of that ilk is really fucked up to say, but I guess I'm just going to go with that. It's just a bad game. What was that called? You're muted. What did you say?
Oh, I said and canceled.
Yeah,
Yeah, good run.
It's the maps. You can't really see how big the maps are, but essentially what this game was me just walking. I think because I'm in an arena right here. Let's see if I can like get out to the overworld, because the overworld was walking through giant open areas with nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean like actually nothing in these areas. To go over to an area, to click, to get into an arena, to like fight some rather uninteresting monsters, and then rinse and repeat. And that's kind of that. The tutorial alone was 2.5 hours, and that's before you even get like, I would say, the bulk of the game systems revealed to you. It is very, very slow in the tutorial. A lot of people said that when they played the alpha of it, that it was completely different, and this is all like new. This is open beta. It is not full release, but they said that they're not going to be doing. There's the map, by the way, for those that are curious. There's fast travel, which of course you do have to load into, and they do make a full locked character animation, which is just also aggravating as all hell. With all that said, they do have a rather interesting mechanical approach to an ARPG when it comes to its skills. So you have like two base skills, which are your Q and your W. And those are just skills on a timer that you can use at any time. The other aspect that works into the Magic the Gathering world when it comes to the cards is you build decks. And these decks are 12 cards that then are your other skills. And they're drawn at random. I only have 3 unlocked at the moment. I'll get a 4th one here in 20 or 30 minutes. And those are like your cards. So they're random. They're RNG in terms of what cards you're given. But that is how the game is progressed and how you move forward, is you randomly draw your cards and you randomly draw your skills to do things like summon a monster or buff a monster with +3/+3, or heal, or whatever. I am playing a green deck character, which, just like Magic Gathering, it's based around big monsters. It's based around healing. It's based around that type of stuff. They have all the other base colors. After 3 hours, I unlocked multi-colored decks, which I did not mess around with at all because I was already kind of done with the game at that point. That was a little bit of the equipment that you saw there. Everything has like different tier factors to it because, of course, it's a free-to-play game. So there are currencies that you don't necessarily spend throw money, but they are things that are time investments of like, collect 8.4 million of this and you can unlock a new class, for example, for one of the extremes. When I quit, I had 7,000. So that's kind of a lot of grind. But that's also one of the things that you can spend real money on, of course, to skip that grind. But all in all, like, this whole thing was just really boring. They definitely did not capture the, like, there's no, we kept talking and chat kept commenting on the fact that there was no like feedback, and that came on so many different things. There was no feedback in the menus. Like when you click the thing, there's no like button audio. There's no like animation when you click in. It was just like I don't know how to like describe it. There was no feedback whatsoever. And that was
Weird.
also in the combat. There was no feedback in the combat. There was not, you saw damage numbers pop up, but that was it. There wasn't like the crunch that you get in like a Path of Exile or a Diablo when you're just obliterating hordes of enemies. It was just like, oh, they're dead now, type deal. And so I could not find any semblance of fun, and was pretty bored throughout the whole aspect of it. But it's free to play if you want to jump in. I think if you are a diehard Magic fan, we had a couple in the chat yesterday saying that they did enjoy, seeing the characters that they've used in their cards for years. And that was a fun aspect, but I didn't like it. I didn't even get into the MTX aspect of it, which is Co actually explained more than they did in the game yesterday to me, that you can just flat out buy cards that you can't get through normal means in the game. You can buy certain heroes that you can't get through
the big ones.
What was that?
Classes. They
Yeah.
said there's entire classes on their monetization page that are going to be ones that you buy.
Yeah.
They do make the point to say that they're going to be different, not more powerful. But I mean, they always say that.
They always say that. Yeah.
And for those wondering, they have a whole page up on their monetization. Don't take our word for it. Like, you can go read all this yourself.
By all means, definitely do the research if you're at all curious. But yeah, the base game didn't even interest me at all to even look into the MTX aspects of it. And that is never, that's the inverse of what you want, right? Like, you want people to, how can I spend money on this game instead of like, God, how can I just leave this game? So
Right.
did not have a good time with it. Can't recommend it. That being said, it's free to play. So if you want to form your own opinion about it, which I recommend you to do so, because it'll take about 10 minutes before you realize what's going on. And yeah, that's it. Magic Legends out now, I suppose, in open beta. It's a doozy. Co, you played a shit ton of games in the past 2 weeks. Did you finish Persona 5 Strikers real quick?
No.
Okay.
I am on Dungeon 5? 4? 5. I just finished jails. I just did 3 big jails, and then I did like a mini jail. And without quick Persona 5 Striker spoiler.
Okay.
My favorite new character just found out his thing. That's where I am. Yeah.
Best character
awesome.
in Persona 5. That's what I said.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I actually I've liked him more and more as the game has continued. And
Yes.
And after that I was just like, oh, well, sold. Awesome. This guy's great. Okay, fantastic.
100% agree with you. Yeah.
What's really funny is when you first said that a while ago, I totally thought you were talking about the AI chick. And the entire game,
No.
I was just like, it's okay. Like, I don't, maybe something big will happen that made JP like her. Here's what's also great. I was convinced by my community not to watch the intro, and I can't state this more.
Yeah.
If you are going to play Persona 5 Strikers, do not watch the intro, because I didn't. And it was awesome. It was awesome because it was completely unexpected when everything hit the fan, and I was just like, this is great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like most Persona games, though, right?
Most Japanese
Yes.
games, let's be real. Yakuza's also real guilty for it. I'll never forget Yakuza.
Yeah.
Fired
I
up
will
P3
never
and
forget.
They're shouting at me.
Yeah. In Yakuza, I'll never forget the first time I actually watched an intro, and it showed one of the characters getting shot, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like literally, it shows I think it showed him getting shot, and then the next scene was like it slowly panning over their hospital bed, and then like a graveyard. It's just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Oh my lord, dude, so bad, bad. It's been fun so far. I'm playing it like a couple hours here and there, and it's really enjoyable. Like I think the Persona 5 Strikers combat system really kind of leans into kind of the fast, chaotic nature of the game, and I wish I could cut down on the quips a little bit because it gets a little overwhelming to have them yelling at you the entire time.
Dude.
But I've been on hard mode the whole time. The challenge has been fun. Once you learn, I mean, the whole game is just based on spamming weaknesses. That's all it is. Like, you just spam weaknesses the entire time. You load up on every ether thing you can get. You pause the game and you can put as much shit as you want on everybody, and it's just like, it's kind of silly, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I agree. And You mentioned the quips get a little bit old. Shopping from any vendor in that game, when you're buying surplus amount of items, is about the worst thing I've ever heard. Because it's
With
just
the voice. Oh
it's the
God.
same dialogue line every time you buy an item, and I mean and
Especially,
it's full, and especially one character in particular that you buy.
there's this one girl
Yes.
who sells at the supermarket, and she's, "Are you done? Are you done yet? Are you finished? Yeah. Do you want anything else?" And it's just like, "Good, shut up. Oh no."
Yeah.
It's so bad because you have to just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. But yeah.
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 Yeah. Also, funny enough, did you? I would guess, saying where you are, did you notice Octopimp's character yet in that game? Because he has a voice line 2 or 3 times throughout that game. I don't know if your chat pointed it out to you. Yeah,
I don't think I did.
he's in there.
I may not be there yet though. That's cool. That's very cool. Man, how'd he land that?
I don't
Those
know.
games are notoriously hard to get in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really cool.
Good for him, dude. That's really cool.
When they told me about that.
Octopimp is a content creator. Used to be big into YouTube. I think he's moving mostly to Twitch now. But yeah, big
Yep.
friend of Dodger and that crew, and he's
Yeah.
a good dude.
Yeah, I think also chat's pointing out ProZD is also in there as well, which is a huge anime guy as well.
Oh, yeah.
What about the Outer Worlds DLC 2? Is this the final DLC?
Oh, yes. Okay. This DLC was incredibly surprising. So the entire DLC is a legit murder mystery. And it is not just like a follow a main story thing. It like gives you a bunch of locations to go to and investigate. And there's entire things you like don't need to do, but if you think about it, like and go to those locations, all of a sudden quests pop up and stuff. It is open-ended. It does not hold your hand. The characters and dialogue are really cool. And the entire time, especially through like the at the end of the first third and like moving towards the end of the game, I was frequently like stopping and having to be like, okay, so we know this and this happened here. We know that this happened. This person has this, but then why did this person say this about this thing? And it's like you have to go and interview everybody. I liked this DLC rather significantly better than the main story.
Dang.
The new area is also big and very cool. It takes place in this like these floating islands on this planet that has like its own ecosystem and stuff. There are numerous things that are very much carrot on a sticks to kind of lead you in different directions. There's lots of red herrings, which is a lot of fun as well. So you kind of have to like suss out if something is like a red herring or not, or if it's actually pertinent to the story and what you're working on. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. It took about, what was it, chat? Like 15 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it was
That's
not by no
lengthy.
means short.
Yeah.
They added more levels. They added some more perk levels and stuff, and added a lot more science weapons. And science weapons are like the unique kind of legendary weapons in the game that generally have unique functions or effects. And yeah, it was overall a great time. The one discussion we had frequently in the channel is this DLC has really gotten me excited to see what they're going to do in Avowed. Because this DLC kind of showed me that Obsidian is on the ball right now. Like since this is the last kind of big thing they're doing, potentially before Avowed, with like Grounded and stuff in between. Like this shows they know like this was a lot of fun. It was basically bug free. Whole experience was rock solid. It was long. It was well priced for how much we got. Lots of areas to explore that were kind of like side content and things. Like, yeah, man, 10 to 10 DLC. I really enjoyed it.
I can't help but notice that you have 12,000 ammo. Is that just okay? Is that normal?
This is my 100% run. So this, I would actually use the same thing, like the same save throughout the entire time. So I'm max level. I've got a bajillion ammo. I'm super decked out. Like it was a lot. Funny enough, I'm playing on Supernova difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty, and there were things in this DLC that killed me. Even with all that stuff and all the best things and all the upgrades, like there were things in this DLC that killed me more than a few times.
Are there any new companions? I don't know what they refer to them as in this game in the DLC. Okay, yeah.
No new companions, and there's also unfortunately not like a new tier. The thing about Outer Worlds that was kind of unfortunate is the way that they did weapons. A lot of times they'd be like Bat version 2, Bat 3.0, Bat Ultra. Like it was really lame, and a lot of people, including me, didn't like it. It was kind of lazy. Later found out it was a resource issue for Outer Worlds. Like they just didn't have enough to like make as huge items as a game like this really deserves. But unfortunately, there was not a new tier in this game. So it in terms of like a lot of the gear that I wore, like some of the armor and stuff got a little bit better. But my weapons and stuff were generally the same outside of the science.
Cool. What
But
is
now,
this?
of course, the good thing is now we have Microsoft bankrolling Obsidian. So, and we have years of Avowed development left. So hopefully that, in conjunction with the fact that it looks like they're seriously developing good stuff, could be a really nice combo.
Yeah, it's getting more and more exciting for all these companies that Microsoft now has, including every billion, one of the billion companies that Bethesda has underneath it, with just the games that are going to potentially come from that, right? Like, could be really, 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 really good for the RPG world, because everything looks great and BioWare is in shambles at the moment. So,
Yeah. Oh God, especially after they cut Anthem loose. Like, talk about, hey, we're going to give you a second chance with this game. Show us what you got. Oh, that's trash. We're canceling that. Okay, go ahead and make Dragon Age now. Thanks.
yeah,
They're not screwing up, and we're just going to shut you down completely. Yes, we are.
it's rough.
It's kind of bad.
It is bad. It is. Bad.
Also, by the way, quick note. You reminded me bringing up Microsoft. I missed this story from 5 days ago, and it was kind of expected, but kind of interesting. Microsoft dissolved the ZeniMax board of directors. Like they
Really?
they didn't. Yeah,
Like nobody's
all those
staying around.
bigwigs, all those bigwigs that were kind of like somewhat controlling where ZeniMax was going. Like Microsoft just kicked them out. Now it wasn't exactly, according to the article, it wasn't like a surprise they did that, but kind of interesting because a lot of people had been talking about how the highest levels of ZeniMax were the ones that were kind of driving the monetization ship. So, that's, I mean, it's kind of standard procedure, but that could be a good thing for those that were having issues with that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I will also note, for anyone worried that those people were fired, there's a reason they got bought by $6 billion, because most of that probably went to those people.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're
Trust me,
going to be fine.
They probably all retired. Yeah. Oh yeah, chat's saying that's normal for acquisitions. Yeah, it is. It is. That's what I'm saying. But it's one of those things where you don't always think about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think like they bought a company and then maybe it's just this same sailing moving forward. But in a situation like that, when they literally kind of, in some case, kind of remove the brain, well, that could be indicative of some big changes.
Yeah, for sure. Zeke, you sent me some stuff that you played. I do know. I'm curious about Valheim, because I think most of the people that I know that were super addicted to Valheim have fallen off of it. But you got into it, and now you can't stop playing it. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, what is this, a girlfriend thing, or are you just into it yourself, or both?
Well, it's both. It started off checking it out, and it ended up being exactly what people said it was. It's a very fun. I don't know. You know what? I don't know what separates it from other builder games that I've tried.
Yeah.
This one, I get this one. This one makes more sense to me. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but I think it's probably because there is a progression. There is an end goal. There's something I'm working towards. It just takes a fucking long time to work towards it.
Sure.
It's just like, in order to defeat the bosses that they set out for you, it would behoove you to learn how to make certain items, certain weapons, certain this, certain that. You also have to figure out, like, in order to get past this part, you should probably have this kind of armor or whatever. And getting to that point, you kind of get lost in the building and organization aspect of it. You're just like, Jesus Christ, this chest is just full of garbage. I need to make three chests to separate this garbage. It's like you're recycling. It's just like, there's plastics in my cardboard. Fuck. Okay, put that there, put that there, until you come back from like being out on the road adventuring, and then you're just like, I don't want to fucking organize this right now. You just dump it all somewhere and into some container, and just like, all right, it's been an hour since I dumped all my shit. Let's put it in the right spot. Put it in the right spot. There's the spot. There it goes there. And it's just this little satisfying thing. Like you get it when you do it like in real life. Like when you clean your bedroom and you organize your books or whatever you have. If like me, you don't have any books, but you organize something.
Yeah.
You organize your controllers or something, whatever. You get that little hit on the feeder bar, you know? And then you forget like, oh shit, that's right. While I was building and organizing shit, I forgot that what I came back for is this thing, so I could go beat this thing, like go like explore or whatever. And also like the traveling is insanely annoying. It is insanely annoying, and it's so that you want to build better traveling things. It just fucking you're just like, okay, going from place to place is so fucking slow. How can I make that faster? Well, there's 10 hours.
Yeah.
You want to go faster? 10 hours of gameplay to get that boat that you want. You know that boat? Gonna take you about 10 to get there. And then you get that boat and you're like, oh, this is the life. This is the life. And then you're like, I need this boat because I can't transport fucking ore. I can't take fucking ore through a portal. And it's maddening. Especially when you're trying to do it fast
Sure.
and then you get murdered and you have to go back and try and pick it up without getting murdered again. It's fucking awful sometimes. But most of the time it's pretty okay. It's pretty chill. It's pretty like, you know, like, okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to mine this. I'm going to go clear out this thing. I'm going to go fight this thing. But other times it's just like like one little thing. Like, let me tell you the most recent story, and this happened last night.
Okay.
And it made me so mad I rage quit. And my girlfriend said, "Do you need a hug?" No. Outside. I went outside and I walked around in the snow, just like snow like sizzling off of my fucking skin because some creatures destroyed my boat. Now, that's bad enough. It's not too bad. Because when the boat gets destroyed, like all the materials are there. Unless one of the materials doesn't fucking float. And so there was one thing, and I was in the process. The reason why I needed the boat is I was in the process of moving camps. I was moving my camp to a very cool location that I found, and that was going to be my main base. I was going to put all my portals there. That's where, and it's in a meadow. Like the attacks are going to be light, easy attacks. You know, it's going to be like gray dwarfs, which, man, I eat gray dwarfs for breakfast now. And I'm like, this is going to be sweet. Destroy my boat. And I'm sitting there and I can see it. The fucking nails that you need are sunk at the bottom. And I'm just like, I try and wade in. I'm not close enough. I can't get him. So I'm sitting there going, can you dive in Valheim? Can you dive? And they're like, no. But there is a solution. And this is what I ended up doing. In the middle of the fucking swamp.
Jericho's just like, got a call or something.
He's out.
Yeah. Yeah. You said swamp, and he's got to go kill someone now. That's his trigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the middle of a fucking swamp, I built a stairway to heaven. And the way you do it is you jump, and the momentum takes you low enough under the water.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just went like, I had to do it 3 times though. I was like, do. Like it's like grab it. No, I missed it. No shit. So I had to do it. I died. Had to come back. Did it again. Finally, eventually, I got it. But like one little fuck up, one little thing, because you don't realize how long it takes to make and mine and get just nails, just fucking nails.
Yeah.
And it's the key thing. And if you can't get it back, that's hours and hours lost.
Sounds like Valheim.
But yeah. So yeah. Yep. But it's got me, man. It's got me. I'm like, I think I want to say 2, maybe 2 bosses in, and a lot of times I just hang out with the lady and she goes exploring and builds, and I like figure out like how to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Is that game still blowing up? Has it started to simmer down now? Like
Simmering.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm sure.
I mean, the
I'm
thing
sure
is
it's
there's only so much content, so
Sure.
it's the kind of thing where you just kind of run out of things to do. There are a bunch of large updates planned. They have a whole roadmap out, tons of things coming down the pipeline. But I think a lot of people have kind of exhausted the current content. Many have done or are finishing up their mega builds, and then it's just kind of like,
Well, it's
Wait.
it's hard to grow when everybody owns the game.
And by the way,
every single
it's
person
true,
has the game
true.
now.
Yeah.
Like, where do you
I
go
am
from
specifically
there?
talking about on stream and Twitch, by the way. Of course, in the overall world, people are still like
Yeah.
the snowball's still rolling downhill. I mean, yeah, as people are saying in chat right now, there's like 3 million
Dude.
they're still in third place on Steam for sales and everything. So
Yeah. The
like,
peak
it's huge.
the peak concurrent players yesterday was 167,000.
Mhm.
That
It's
game's
of course
doing all
significantly
right.
less than like I mean it was the top of Steam for a while, but you know that it's still doing fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, that's got to be top 10, right? In terms of concurrent.
Yes.
Yeah, because like Steam and or Counter Strike and Dota are like a couple 100,000.
CS and Dota would be the 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah,
6 million copies sold now.
that's crazy. That's good for them. We keep
Oh yeah, dude,
seeing
it's great.
the
Fantastic.
indie darlings, right? We had Fall Guys, and then they got bought, and then we had Among Us, and they don't need to get bought because they have more money than God, and we've got Valheim doing well, and
It's CS, CS:GO, Dota, Valheim, and then the Source SDK based 2013 multiplayer.
Oh.
What's that?
That's
Gmod,
all.
right?
That's like Gmod and all sorts of stuff uses that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
multi-use for sure.
Okay.
Um,
Jesus, I didn't know that Battlegrounds PUBG is still crushing.
huge in Korea and
Korea.
China as well. I think.
No idea.
PUBG
Lot of
PUBG
Asian
just
countries.
passed 1 billion downloads mobile.
I know it was giant and mobile in China.
1 billion.
It's still like the biggest BR in that part of the world for sure.
They're the biggest. Yeah, they're one of the biggest mobile games.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 'Cause
Talking about a smaller company doing well, also Loop Hero is apparently doing fantastic, and Coffee Stain, who is the publisher of Loop Hero, just released the Satisfactory update for their Big Number 4 update. I actually haven't seen that trailer yet.
Huh.
If you wanted to watch it at some point, I've had a lot of people ask me about watching it.
Did we all
but
play
for those
Loop
that
Hero?
like Satisfactory, I think so. Did you play Loop Hero,
Did
Jericho?
you play Jericho?
Not really my type of game. But I've been hearing a lot about it, and I see a lot of people playing, so I've heard it's fantastic.
It's a very good game.
I'm one achievement away from all of them.
Really? Holy
just-
shit, you've been playing.
I
Yeah.
really like that game. I like that game. Like, I pour a ton of hours into games that only require a mouse. Like, it doesn't require anything else other than a mouse. And I'm serious. Like, this is how I played half the hours I have in Loop Hero. This is how I played. Laying in bed, girlfriend right here, mouse on her shoulder.
on her shoulder.
On her shoulder, using her shoulder as the mouse pad. I'm not kidding you.
Jesus.
He's like, Zeke, I love these nightly shoulder massages you give me, and you're like, yeah, shoulder massage.
Yeah. Am I rubbing the one area too much? Like
Jesus.
you rubbed like a circle rash in my arm.
Yeah. Loop Hero is very good. I didn't even make it past the third boss, and I still would recommend that game wholeheartedly. It definitely gets to a point, like it clicked about 20 hours in, and I think for other people this clicked much faster, but like that's not a game about beating bosses, that's a game about farming items. And like the faster that or the more that I recognize that of like, oh fuck, I have to like set up a camp to farm this one specific type of item so I can get this next upgrade. And then I didn't do that for like 20 hours. Like, well, what the fuck have I been doing? I was just wasting time. Like I died more often than I won, and that was just a complete waste of time where I should have just gotten out and saved my resources. And it took me way too long to realize that. So I just was like, yeah, this game's great, but I'm gonna move on to something else. So I played the Avengers DLCs. I don't really have anything constructive to add to that conversation because I don't know what
It's a good game, right?
the single player is fun. I enjoy the stories. The shitty part is those stories are 2 to 3 hours long per DLC. And then it's like, why am I playing this game? Because there's nothing at the end game. I can make my character better for no reason at all. Right? Like there's so many things that like the game just doesn't have, so there's no pull to continue playing. The second to second aspect is like fun. This is a loot goblin, by the way. They took that and put that in here because why not?
This looks really engaging.
Yeah. It is.
This whole fight.
The best part was all that loot that I got right there fell off the map. I didn't actually get the loot. So yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say that this game is going to go the way of Anthem because I think Anthem had different issues. But I feel like the reason this game is at where it's at is because working with Marvel is a fucking nightmare. And I think we saw that as well when it came to Kingdom Hearts 3 because it was working with Disney, who is also just, Marvel is just an arm of Disney. And like the licensing on that and the control over IP that Disney wants on stuff limits and lengthens everything when it comes to that. In a lot of ways, I'm making excuses for the devs, but I think I saw that with Kingdom Hearts, and I think that's why Kingdom Hearts 3 suffered, and I think that's why this game suffered. It's the biggest IP in the world, and they are very controlling over how you use that, and so you get things that aren't really the best for a video game. But with all that said, like the 2 to 3 hour story was generally fine. It was cool to see Kate Bishop, who's a character that I enjoy, and I enjoyed Hawkeye, I enjoy Iron Man, like all these, Avengers, right? They're great. I love the characters, and you get to see the story stuff. Just after you finish that 2 to 3 hour campaign, there's no fucking reason to continue playing, right? Because there's nothing to do except for the same story missions that you've already done.
So, out of curiosity, JP, what if this game wasn't based around heroes that you already know and love? What if all these people were just like in-game characters created for the game?
100%, I probably wouldn't care. Like the Marvel fandom, the Marvel fan in me is why I play this game. It has nothing to do with like really anything else other than that. And that's why you make a game around Marvel, right? Like you get people like me who will just buy it because it has Marvel on it. And that's in a nutshell licensing in the video game world. But outside of that, like this would essentially be Destiny if Destiny had nothing to do with the end game. Or I guess like, did Anthem have stuff to do once you hit cap? I don't even recall.
No,
I don't even know.
I
if
never
I made
played
it
it that long.
You did the same missions that you did on like a harder difficulty. The gear grind was basically non-existent. You could get like a few different things, but there was almost no customization. There was like only one way you could go on most class. It was an absolute mess.
Yeah. And I've read a lot of like very interesting articles and takes on the game. A lot of people like it is a game as a service, but there's a lot of I think Gene Park at Washington Post, or maybe it might have just been like a YouTube video saying that like this is a brawler. This is not a game as a service. They need to drop the idea that it's a game as a service and treat it as a brawler. And it would be in a much better place if they did such a thing. Because like they put out a roadmap. That was one of the big updates they put out at that Square Enix event last week, was finally 6 months after release, a roadmap. And in that roadmap was a couple things. One of the big things, which I think has to be IP related, was the idea that it's called a tachyon level or tachyon something or other. Tachyon raid, maybe. It's not an actual like raid though. It was the idea that you can have 3 Hulks playing at once. They had to create an entire in-game, in-universe reason for the fact that there were 3 Hulks running around. And that just screams that it's a fucking IP. Like, that's Disney saying, like, well, you can't have 3 Hulks on the screen. There's only one Hulk, right? Like, there's no other reason for that to exist. And I feel like as a dev, that's just got to be the worst feeling, that you have to make a reason for that to be the case.
Well, it seems like an easy fix with, like with the way they use PIM particles, like in case you haven't seen the fucking Avengers.
Yeah. 100%. And Dr. Pym is in this game. He's one of the characters. He's one of the main, like pushing forward, characters, reasons why anything. Yes, there you go. Protagonist of why things happen. He's not playable, but he's one of the reasons why things happen. And PIM particles are in this game, and they kind of use it for that very reason, Zeke.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if after the now announced Black Panther Wakanda expansion comes out for this, that's it. Like, that's all we see. But
didn't you just say they had a roadmap and stuff?
they had a roadmap, yeah, and that's the end of the roadmap. Is later this year the Black Panther character will drop, and Wakanda, which is a new area, will drop. Wakanda is supposed to have a raid in it, but they didn't say anything about the raid in that expansion or in that press conference. They also had a war table, which is kind of like their community streams where they might have gone into it. I didn't catch it. So you might, maybe in the chat, that's there, but yeah, like the game, you need a reason to play. And right now, after you finish the story, which takes all of 2 to 3 hours, and you finish that story at like level 7 with 50 being the cap, to get to 50, you're grinding story missions, or you're grinding aspects of those story missions. This boss right here, I fought this guy 4 times in the main story.
I gotta admit, because like this part right here was like, this looks kind of cool. Like giant walking fight thing, lots of little points. Like, looked like the fight was pretty engaging. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of stuff looks all right. It's too bad the rest of it just kind of isn't, from the sounds of it.
Yeah. The other thing that is really frustrating that I think might be one of the biggest flaws of the game is when you start a character at level 1, you have your light attack, your heavy attack, your 3 abilities, and that's it. As you go all the way to 50, you get a character point, or like a spec point. And that unlocks the actual character in a sense. So when you're playing at like level 1, you have like 4 tools. When you're playing at level 50, you have those 4 tools where you're making decisions on how you want those tools to operate and actually playing the character in a lot of ways. And in grinding, I mean, that's like a 10-hour grind to actually play the character fully realized. And that's just, it's not a fun thing to do, right? Like, I understand the idea of character advancement, but make that like gear-based or something, right? Like give me an ulterior or alternative path to progress in that. Don't make it like a Diablo style thing where you're unlocking new skills as you go through it, right? Like, give me that full thing right off the bat. Make it enjoyable right off the bat. Don't make me grind to make it enjoyable in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I'll continue to play the story stuff as they put it out because it's so short and I can jump in for 3 hours and, see what Kate Bishop's character is like and story is like. And they're great. The voice acting's great. The game, this was the other update, was the PS5 update. So I was playing at 4K 60, ran great. I had one major crash on launch day, and I think that got a hot fix right afterwards. So that aspect of the game has been fixed, but a lot of the issues now are just like fundamental gameplay, like core issues of the game that they're either going to have to address or I don't know. I don't know where this game goes a year from now. It's telling when the biggest like news that this game gets are like hit pieces about like, oh, Steam had 2,000 players the day the patch came out. The day before that, it was 200, right?
Ooh.
And like, that's the major press that you're getting. Is gamers.com writing an article about the amount of people playing on Steam. That happens like every 3 months with this game. Even like IGN and GameSpot have gone the way of like, this is the press on Avengers is the player count. And that sucks, right? Like That sucks for people that are actually interested in the game. That sucks for the developers. I'm sure that sucks for Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix and even Marvel, who like want to push this out there. And the sentiment around the game, if you go and like look at any of the promoted Marvel posts on Twitter, it'll have like 3,000 or 4,000 likes. It'll have about 200 comments. Every single one of those comments is like, go fuck yourself. This game's shit. Like, they're all very negative and not supporting of the game. So it's got a lot. They've got a lot of stuff that they got to try and solve. I feel like that roadmap was potentially a good step forward, but we'll see where we go from there. Right? Like it's a tough time. I don't think it's where Anthem is or was at any point, but if they don't start changing stuff, I could quickly see it getting to that point. Which sucks because I just want more games around the quality of like Spider-Man, right? For the PS5 or for the PS4 and PS5, where like they're 10 out of 10 well-made Marvel games with characters that are awesome and badass. Instead, it's like, go kill this boss that you fought 4 times. Hit the same button over and over because you can't unlock any other skills unless you do it for a couple times, right? So that's that. I don't have any intention of playing this game after I finish the stories, which took, for the 2 DLC, which I think are the only 2 DLC out, took 5 hours, maybe 4 hours, maybe. But that's what it is. It's a bummer. It bums me out, but I still enjoy playing it because I'm a Marvel fan, right? That's where it get me. Luckily, it's all free. I should also note I didn't pay for any of that.
I was gonna ask, how much did they get you to pay for it? Though
DLC's free.
Yeah.
You can pay for costumes, but there's also ways to earn it in game, in the sense of like a battle pass that if you play enough, you will earn and unlock that battle pass, which I guess is maybe, I was asking like, why do you play? You play for the skins for the different costumes if you don't want to outright pay for it. So that's that.
I like the entire time you talked about it. It was the subtitle was Outer Worlds DLC.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, that'll get everyone on Twitter to go shit on those games.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but
No, you should have. It's one of those things where if I'm talking, it's hard for me to adjust that in real time. But
yeah.
well, cool. That's that. We'll end drop frames as we started on a depressing note about middle school conversations.
damn.
Let's do some shout outs and call it a show. We'll save. We have a ton of indie games that Zeke and Co have been playing that we have not covered. Curse of the Dead Gods being one of them, which I'm very curious to talk about. Zeke finished Breath Edge. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. So we got more for next week. Jericho, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's been a minute.
Yeah. It had been I want to say like before COVID started.
Yeah, if I hadn't jumped on for like a game review, like if I didn't jump on E3, then it's been a year or so. So
Yeah.
always good to come back.
Yeah. Do some shout outs. Jericho, talk about where people can watch you. Talk about what you got coming up, all that stuff.
You guys have convinced me to play Fall Guys today, so I'm down. Oh my god, I'm not not a Minecraft Elite stream. You guys can check me out on twitch.tv/Jericho. If you guys want some DMCA free music, you can check out my record label, Night Mode Records. All right, it's available on Spotify and every other major thing. So go give us a listen.
There you go. Check them out. Zeke, do some shout outs.
I actually liked school. Even though I looked like butthead, I actually had a good time in school. I did pretty well as well. Anyway, thank you, Jericho, for being on the show. Thank you, Co and JP, for being the co-hosts every week. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III, just like that, on all of the platforms. If you want to check me out, I might be on later today. We'll see. It's going to be a chill stream either way, but I will be back on it tomorrow for sure. Contractually obligated because I'm doing a sponsored stream to start the day tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to be checking out the SNK Amazon Prime Gaming new library of like retro games that you can play on Amazon Gaming, I guess. So I'm going to be checking out a few of those. Like, remember Baseball Stars? Remember that? I used to play that at my pizza parlor. So check that out. Samurai Showdown, all the classics. So that's what's happening tomorrow. After that, probably continuing some Persona. And that's what I got. Oh, and then Friday, yeah, Friday, gonna be doing checking out Risk of Rain, the new update to that,
Nice.
and then after that, probably some more Persona.
Hey man, that's streaming Persona right there. It's just,
Yeah.
and then we'll do some more Persona after every stream.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. And then on the 30th, of course, if not before, unless I can, man, I'm trying to pull some strings. I'm really trying to put out all my markers to try and get see if I can play Disco Elysium early, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But definitely on the 30th, if nothing else.
Cool. Cool. Do some shout outs.
Sure. As always, a big thank you to JP and Zeke. Always great having Jericho on the show. Hopefully he will have a chance to come back after all of the near stuff. Could be a lot of fun. I like it. On that note, my name is Ko. Hi. I will be back tonight in about 2.5 hours, just a little bit less. We're probably going to be doing some Neo 2, maybe some My Time at Porsche, maybe some Fall Guys during the cozy stream. We just play whatever I want for that time. For the day streams, we're working on Arkham Horror, Mother's Embrace. I played that today and it was actually pretty fun. Gonna do that tomorrow. Also, I've got my eyes on a game called Paradise Lost, which looks really interesting. We'll probably be checking out that this weekend. Also making a return to Persona 5 Strikers as we work through that. We have Disco Elysium coming up. We have Outriders coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So to see you on the channel, starting every day at 8 a.m. and then in the evenings again during our cozy stream at 6:30.
Cool. What do I have going on? Bunch of sponsors. It seems like sponsors are just out in force lately.
Oh yeah,
forgot
to mention that.
Yeah, Ko and I not together. He'll be doing a different stream than me. I think we're both playing Tony Hawk either tomorrow or Friday at some point for the PS5/Xbox Series X update. I'll be jumping into Rise, so I tried my hardest to hold out and not play Rise till the PC release, but they got me. They're going to get me to double dip, those assholes over there. So I'll be jumping into that whenever it unlocks. I'm hoping I get early access tomorrow. I was told I get early access, but still don't have code for it yet. So see where that goes. Weekends, we'll be doing Final Fantasy 14 raids as usual. Saturday, we're actually going to be jumping into the new Joseph Fares, I forget how to pronounce his last name, game. The Brothers and A Way Out guy, his new game, It Takes Two, is coming out. And me and Aurelian are going to jump into that. It's co-op only. It came out today with reviews. Seemed to have gotten pretty good reviews, so I'm excited to jump into that. More Monster Hunter Rise after that, and then Outriders on the 1st.
Woo!
I guess that's next Thursday is when that comes out. So I'll be jumping into that, as well as a handful of other sponsored streams throughout there that I don't know if I'm not comfortable talking about them because I don't know if I can talk about them yet. But they're going to be everywhere, so just pay attention, or you can head over to jpedia.net to find out the schedule and what we got planned. So that's that. There's a lot of stuff coming up for all of us. Make sure you check it out on all of our Twitters and Twitch streams, and just visit the stream next week as well, because we'll give you all the updates and all the rundown once again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern for more Drop Frames. Jericho, it's been a blast. We'll see you on...
Thanks, guys.
No, we won't see you on Monday. We'll see you next Monday for some more Mr. Robot.
Yes,
with
next
Max.
Monday.
Yeah. You're going out of town or something like that.
No, my parents are coming in town. Haven't seen them in a year and a half, so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
COVID. Gotta spend some time.
Yeah. Wait, why is Zeke saying shit?
I haven't seen my mom in about that long, too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Go get
COVID,
some family
folks.
time.
Go get vaccinated. That's our message to you. Call a CVS. Get those ones that they're going to throw away. It's easy. We're out, though. Until now, or until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Finish up with some more near music here for a bit. I'm going to take the rest of the day off because I most likely will be going ham tomorrow and Friday and Saturday and Sunday with Monster Hunter Rise. So I'm good for today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please feel free to hit the follow button, not just on the channel you're watching, but if you hover over the screen, there should be an extension enabled to where you can follow all of our channels at once, or one of our channels, or none of our channels. The option's there. Consider it. that's that. I'll see you guys tomorrow, at least on my stream, noon Eastern. We'll jump into, most likely, I think, some Tony Hawk and then probably some Monster Hunter Rise after that. For now, though, enjoy some music. I'll kill the streams here in just a bit. See you next week or tomorrow. Bye-bye.